Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, normally it's every week. It's just me answering questions that you guys have about your challenges you're having in your lawn, any projects you may have going on. But tonight is special in the sense that we have Lee Purcell from Real Rollers that's joining us tonight. So any questions you guys have about real mowers, real mowing, questions about products that he might be developing and things that are coming down the pipeline, feel free. A lot of questions you guys ask me that I can't answer that he can definitely take care of. Tonight is the night. Obviously, we're going to be taking all your other questions as well. But if you have questions about real mowing, that's going to be the big thing. You can look at the show on YouTube as your primary platform, but it's also available on Meta, Instagram, and Twitter and X. So just whatever way you want is whatever is best for you. So consume it the way you want. The only thing we really ask is that you have engagement. So whatever platform you're on, give us a like, love, dislike, whatever you happen to be, because an engagement really does help out a lot. All right, so let's move over to our interview screen and see if we can get Mr. Lee on the show. Let me bring him in here. Lee, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Nice. So, guys, for any of you guys that don't know, Lee is the brains behind Real Rollers, which is the company that builds the Revolution Real Mower, the new one that was released. And actually, I'm introducing you. You can introduce yourself, man. I can't do it justice. So you tell us. Tell us about yourself, about Real Rollers, all that jazz.
You're fantastic. Well, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to get on the show, and big fan for real mowing, and that's really kind of what brought rear rollers around. So I'm the owner. Got a great team, me and my wife, my family, along with a bunch of other employees. But our enthusiasm is around real mowing, and that's the big thing. And we recently launched the Revolution about 2 years ago, and then last year we launched the 20-inch. So just excited to be on the show and share our knowledge around at least real mowers because that's our passion. And love learning from the show as far as how things go and your expertise as well.
Nice, nice. Very cool. So, guys, again, any questions you guys have, again, around real mowing, about potential, turf park parties, all that jazz, be sure to ask because the guy that can actually answer that question, or just give you an idea. Maybe you won't answer everything. Just give you an idea is here. So, guys, it's been a fun week. We're getting some warmer temperatures, which is kind of nice. If you guys saw some of my YouTube content, I started the first step of the renovation of my front lawn. I may live to regret that, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting either way. But let's get rolling. You guys have all the questions, and let's get into it. All right. So first up is Mr. Gene DeWolf. He says 21,000 square feet of Bermuda in Ackworth. Soil test recommends 7.25 pounds per thousand of triple 12 starter fertilizer every 4 to 6 weeks. Can I apply it all at once? I have a toe spreader, 150-pound capacity. Apply in April. Yeah, that should be. Let me do some quick math on that Gene. So 0.12. So if you put out 7 pounds per thousand, that's right at 9 tenths of a pound of nitrogen. It's heavier than I would do it personally. Like I would go a little bit lighter than that. I mean, this especially for your initial fertilization of the season, I like to be closer to 0.5, 0.6 from granular and the rest with liquids. But yeah, if all you're going to be doing is granular fertilizer for your feeding program, 7 pounds, 7.25 pounds per thousand is about right. If that's going to be all you're going to be doing. And as far as putting it out, I mean, if you have a well-calibrated spreader and you can put that out over 21,000 square feet, I would. So yeah, if you got a big enough capacity to do it, I would go ahead and get that done. Should not be a problem at all. So Lee, with the turf park, you guys have multiple different grass types, right? I know there's a Bermuda plot, but what are the other two grasses you guys have there? I think you're muted, or you got quiet. Or if you can hear me, I can't hear you. We'll see. Yeah, check your audio. I think. Okay, well, while you work that out, I'll go on to the next question because I think. I think that there's some kind of audio issue that we're not. Your audio is not currently coming through. All right. Next up, we got Jackie Bear. He says, "Evening all, brother Ron. Let's roll." Hey, what's going on, Jackie? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then Dimitri says, "Good evening, Ron and Lee." What's going on, Dimitri? And Lee, I'm not sure if your audio is back, but yeah, just feel free to talk over me. Whenever it comes through, it'll come through. But yeah, something changed and it's not working. Okay, next up we got True Gator Fan. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. Got my scalp done and most of the flower beds this week while on vacation. I can see yellowing on a small amount of POA I treated with Image about 3 weeks ago. I'm ready." Nice. Yeah. So now the temperatures are getting warmer, True Gator Fan. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised that you're now starting to see some yellowing of the POA annua. Temps are getting warmer. Like this today was last night was in the mid 30s, but every day from here going forward is supposed to be hotter. So the lowest is supposed to be like in the high 40s and then onward. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that the POA annua is beginning to die off and that Image is doing its thing. So for those of you that don't know, I did start the first step of renovating the front lawns as far as putting out herbicide to kill off the front. I'm already seeing some yellowing, so I'll have to do some video and show you guys that. It's already beginning to take effect. It's kind of painful, but it should be fun. If anything, it'll be interesting content for this season. Lee, I'm not sure if you're back, if your audio's back. If not, I mean, again, feel free to talk over me. Just see if you come through. All right. Next up, we have Ninos Yokana in the live stream. He says, "Happy Friday at Ron Henry. Gave my big like. Thank you so much. I did my first major lawn cleaning today. Waiting to start my first apps of your program end of this month." Nice. I know you're further up north, Nino, so you're in the Chicagoland area. So yeah, I like it. You did your cleanup. You're ready to go. I did a double cut of the lawn today. I broke the outlet out. Got it going. Put it through its paces just to shake all the bugs out of the system. And I can actually show you guys that. I think I've got a picture or some video of it. So this is this afternoon. You can see the green is coming through very nicely, and this is the result of a double cut on the outlet. So I moved it first in this direction. You can see a lot of green there. That area of the lawn gets a lot of sunlight, and then the stripes this way. So overall, we're looking good. Colors coming in good. Stripes are looking good. It's a good way to start the season, right? So looking forward to it. Okay, I think Lee's gonna drop in and rejoin. Okay, next up we have a True Gator fan. He says, I will continue mowing once a week to promote growth. Then I am going to every 3 days as usual. Yeah, so what I'd say, True Gator fan, let the height of cut that you tend to maintain your lawn at, let that be the driver as far as mowing, mowing frequency. The general rule is the lower you want to maintain the lawn, the more frequently you have to mow it. So if you are, you're on a program where you're mowing, every 3 days, probably an inch or so. At this time of year, an inch would be fine. But if you're mowing it much shorter than that, mowing it once every 3 days is going to be a bit of a challenge, especially as temperatures get hotter and the lawn really begins to take off. So just something to keep in mind. But this time of year, I agree with you. You can actually get by with that. All right, next up we have Living the Adventure. I think you're new. I've not seen you in the live stream. If so, welcome. Says, good evening all. Finally, I'm on the live stream. Cheers from Quebec, Canada. Very cool. So welcome from Quebec. It's again, hopefully you enjoy the show. I know a lot of the content, really the products at least that we use, you can't necessarily get access to, but at least hopefully some of the content we talk about is useful for you getting the best lawn in your particular neighborhood. Because a lot of it comes down to mowing, how well you take care of the lawn, and even though you don't have access to a lot of the particularly herbicides that we have here in the United States for controlling weeds, if you can get your hand on some decent fertilizer and take care of the lawn, that should put you in a pretty good spot. All right, I think Lee is joining back in. You there? Let me see how much you can hear me, but I can't hear. Let me see if you want to say something. I can hear you. No, not coming through as yeah. Still no audio. Still no audio. All right. Next up is Diamond Shotties. He has a question about group planting with regulators. Let me get that one saved because it's going to be a good question for everyone else. I'm sure it's going to be one we're going to get throughout the season. Okay. So he says, explain in you and why we should mix it with Primo. What's the benefits, pros, and cons? Great question. So the benefit to a new EZ, or actually let's start with Primo Max. The thing with Primo Max is that if you are, particularly if you have a lawn that has hybrid Bermuda grass, if you have any common in it, right? The rates for controlling or for regulating hybrid Bermuda versus common Bermuda are very different. So for hybrid Bermuda, you're looking at a rate of anywhere between 1/4 of an ounce per thousand up to 0.38 ounces per thousand. And then for common Bermuda, it's at 3/4 of an ounce, or 0.75 ounces per thousand. So like 3 times the amount of regulator. So the challenge you're going to run into is if you have a lawn that has a bit of common in it and a bit of hybrid in it, and you are trying to regulate the growth of both of them, you can't really use 0.75 on hybrid because you're going to have issues. It's going to cause some yellowing, some discoloration, some tip burn. And then the hybrid rate isn't quite enough to slow down the common. So what you tend to find is even though you're spraying growth regulator, you're going to see that the common is still going to stick out, is going to grow faster than the hybrid will. The thing with a new EZ, it has a different active ingredient, and when it comes to how it regulates growth, for Bermuda grass, there's just one rate. Doesn't matter if it's common, doesn't matter if it's hybrid. And what I find is when you mix these two together, and New Farm's actually got some papers on this. I think I've got them linked on the product description on the Golf Course Lawn Store. When you mix when you use a new, you're able to use just the Bermuda rate, and that helps regulate both common and Bermuda and hybrid more evenly. The negative to new is it doesn't last quite as long as Primo does. So this, really 2 weeks or so is what you get out of it at the rates that I would apply the product. So by mixing both a new and Primo, you get the best of both worlds. Primo tends to work faster and it lasts longer as far as regulation goes. And then a new EZ will, if you have a lawn that has both hybrid and common Bermuda in it, it will slow both of them down. So as far as a way to mask or hide common Bermuda in a hybrid Bermuda lawn, using Primo and a new is a great combo. Like I started doing this last year and absolutely love the results. I've got a few spots in my back lawn where I've got some common Bermuda, and this combo was magic. We've also had people in the academy and also other customers that have tried this out on other grass types, like a hybrid, on cool season grasses, and they also get great results as well. So it's a more expensive way of doing growth regulation, but it does, as far as one, slowing down how quickly the grass grows, and especially if you've got a lawn that's got like different grass types in it, a new and Primo together it's a thing of beauty. Works really well. So hopefully that helps. Diamond Shotties. It's a combination I highly recommend. The only negative is that you're buying 2 growth regulators instead of 1. But as far as getting better regulation, and especially for hiding common in hybrid, so it's a great thing. So hope that helps, sir. If you have any other questions, let me know. I encourage you to try it out. We have a kit on the Golf Course Lawn Store. I can show you really quick here where you can pick up Primo and a new EZ. So if you go here and then under a new, you can get both Primo and a new in a kit. Saves you a little bit of money. So hope that helps. Lee, let me try this again. Are you, if you say something, I'll see if I can hear you. It shows on my end that you are muted is what I'm seeing. Like your audio is muted, it looks like. So I'm not sure if you can, if you can check on your thing and see if that will, whatever your sound settings are, if we can get that worked out. Okay. So hope that helps. Dabashadis, if you need anything else, let me know. All right, next up is Andrew Phillips, who, if I recall, is going to be moving soon. He says, happy Friday, Ron and all. Looking forward to today's talk with reel rollers. I plan on purchasing another reel and want to hear more. There you go. Can you say something now? I'm seeing you hear me now. Yep, I can hear you now. That's working.
Right,
Yay.
Good Lord.
Oh, okay. Happy Friday. It's just in time.
Sorry.
Happy Friday, Ron and all. Looking forward to today's talk with reel rollers. I plan on purchasing another reel and I want to hear more. My turf coming along here in Texas, soil temps are in the high 50s. So you didn't say exactly what all you're looking for. You're looking to look at another reel mower, Andrew. So Lee, when it comes to choosing a reel mower, say you're looking at a mower for a residential lawn, what are some things people should think about whenever it goes into picking the right reel mower?
Yeah, I think some of the first questions we always like to ask are, one, how big is your yard? What type of grass do you have?
Mm-hmm.
And really, how often do you want to mow? I think those are the big 3. When I think about how big is a yard, generally, rule of thumb is 5,000 square feet or less. You tend to go with a 20-inch, which is about the size of a rotary mower. And then 5,000 square feet or more, you tend to go with one of the 26, 25-inch mowers, one of the bigger reel mowers. As it relates to grass, traditionally, you have the Kentucky bluegrass species that are really great for reel mowing. You've got Bermuda and you've got the zoysias that are really popular as far as reel mowing goes. So it's always important to understand what type of grass they have, whether it's common or whether it's a hybrid. And then last but not least is, how often do they want to mow? So understanding if someone is really, really passionate and they're going to mow every day or every other day, that's probably a different height of cut expectation and mower than someone that's going to cut maybe once to twice a week, which is probably more common, twice a week. So we always like to learn more about the person and then ultimately understand kind of what mower is going to be best for them based off of that.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So you want those wider stripes, the 26-inch for a smaller lawn, 5,000 square feet or less, the 20-inch. It also makes a lot of sense, right? Because not only is it do the stripes probably look more balanced, but also from a standpoint of just having to find somewhere to put the equipment, right? There's also that, right?
Sure.
So it's going to take a lot
less
space.
Think about where they live. To take it a little bit further, you'd find out where they live. If they're in an area that's very close to a lot of reel mowing shops, they probably have a little bit more flexibility as far as options.
Hmm.
versus maybe someone in Colorado, or we have people in Massachusetts, New Hampshire. Their access to maybe a grinding service or a reel mower service may be a little bit more limited. So you want to learn a little bit more about that too, because one of the things that we're excited about is that we do a lot of the reels by mail, which opens up the entire country to reel mowing. And what that is simply they can remove the reel, the bed knife, what we call as a reel assembly. It takes about 15 minutes, but we have a program where they can take that out and put in a new fresh reel assembly and continue mowing while they send off their reel to us. And for about the same price that they would pay to take their entire mower, let it sit in the shop for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, they can actually ship their additional reel assembly to us, get it back in about 10 to 12 days because there's shipping time involved, but never be down. So that's something that is important to us to understand. How much access do you have to getting reels sharpened?
That's a good point, because it's one thing to go out and just pick a reel mower based on what you, I guess, preferences, this type of thing, but also be able to get it taken care of, get it sharpened properly, is a big deal. You know what I mean? So that's a good point. And that service, you guys are running that already. So someone that already has a Revolution, they want to send that in, they can already do that.
We've already got people doing it. Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. All right.
Yeah.
So next up, we got JP from Central Kansas saying hello from Central Kansas. What's going on, JP? Hopefully you're doing all right. And then Andrew Phillips says, I just want to say that intro to the stream is awesome. Love it. Dude, that is one of the, as far as like piece of content that I put a lot of time into, like there's a couple of videos that I put like a ton of, like several weeks putting together. The intro is one of the things that I spent a lot of time on. Like literally, I wanted to find the right song, the right music, and then I literally cut the entire thing to the song that's used in the intro. So it took that, what you're seeing is like revision 8 or 9 of what I ended up with. So I did like multiple different versions of it. It's like, don't like it, start over. Don't like this. This part needs to be better. So it's cool. I mean, a buddy of mine that's a professional DP side, and he asked me, dude, who shot this? It looks really good. I'm like, I said, well, I just shot some of it. My neighbor shot some of it. He's like, yeah, this looks really good, man. He says, I don't really have anything to teach you. I'm like, respect. So, all right. Next up is Alan Coleman Jr. This is not a me question. This is Lee. So this is a good one. He says, Lee, tell me some good news on the Verticutter. Tell us all some good news on the Verticutter, Lee. He says, thanks to you both for all your support of the hashtag Stripe Action Gang. Let's have a great stream. So Lee, Verticutter, what say you?
Sammy, so based off our turf park party last fall, we got some incredible feedback. What we're working on currently is something that's actually not part of the Revolution, is actually independent Verticutter. We felt like trying to make the best of everything is really difficult when you make it into one machine. So we are actually working with our supplier manufacturers to look at a self-contained Verticutter. As far as the Revolution goes, we're really not looking to make cartridges to it, because you start to see with some of the cartridge models on the market, you give a lot. And you mow 90% of the time, and you only use the cartridges maybe 10% of the time. And to do that and have that ability, the 90% of the time becomes a little bit more difficult than it has to be. And I'm still a big fan of making the best reel mower for homeowners and not trying to be everything to everyone. And that's really what our focus is right now as it relates to the Revolution. And then we also are looking at maybe another machine. And that's what we're working on, is a different machine that will actually be dedicated to just verticutting, which isn't great for space, I understand, but it's tough to be great at everything at a price point that makes sense for a residential homeowner. You can only ask for so much at a price point that we can afford.
Makes sense. So Verticutter, not off the table, but looks like it's going to be a standalone unit versus a cartridge type system.
It's further than we think. I mean, they've got a lot of the big parts done. It's just something that we thought that it's easier and better to do as an independent unit than to try to change the Revolution, because we really believe what we've made for the Revolution is just an incredible reel mower. We'd hate to change something great. It hasn't even started to take off yet. I don't know. There's a lot of time to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing is, you are right. The cartridge system, you do have some convenience with it, but having a standalone Verticutter, I think you can build probably a more robust unit. You know what I mean? And there's people that have a mower that they already like, and they don't want to go out and invest in cartridges and all that, and just the fact that you also have one piece of equipment that's taking all that additional wear and tear. And so having it separated, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, especially if you can get it at the price point that is attractive. I think it's going to be a winner, so.
You've got to look at the market. There is a business piece to this, right? Um, Segment yourself to only your Revolution mower owners, or
Mm-hmm.
open it up to the entire country. Like it's tough to sometimes publicize this, but there's a business case to saying, hey, it makes more sense to please everybody and make a device that can work for everybody, regardless of the mower. Just focus on making a great mower.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So there you go, Alan. Hopefully that was maybe not the answer that you wanted, but the answer you needed. So there you go.
Truth.
The truth. All right. Next up is Devin. What's going on, Devin? He says, "What's up, Ron and Lee? Looking forward to some good turf and real mower talk." Yes, thank you so much. I'm coming to take some time to hang out, Devin. Really do appreciate you as always. On the topic of real mowers and like really great looking turf this time of year. Now, most of us here in the Southeast, our lawns are coming out of dormancy. They're starting to green up. I mean, we are proud of where we are right now, but we have some people that take the sacrifice of overseeing their lawns. So we have something amazing to look at this time of year. And one of those people is Tom Hoffenkamp. Tom was so nice to send me some pictures. Now, I want to make sure if you don't have sunglasses or some kind of eye protection, make sure you put that on at this point. The amount of green you're about to see and the stripe action might be, make sure the kids are away. You don't want to get hurt. But I'll show you the pictures that Tom sent in. They're pretty incredible. Kind of makes you want to do a ryegrass overseed. I mean, I don't care who you are. That's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So he's using his John Deere to cut it, but the diamonds, the checkerboard stripes are gorgeous, right? I mean, you gotta love that. And he's got John Deere real mower and a greens mower. Sorry, Tom, greens mower. And looks like a Sunjo or something that he's using for turf raking, whatever. So very, very great looking lawn this time of year. Incredible. Time is coming though soon, Tom. You got to spray it out. Got to get rid of it. Don't be one of these people. Don't get one more weak itis. You got to get rid of it soon, or that Bermuda's gonna have a problem. I've seen it.
Been there.
Been there. Right. Got the T-shirt. All right. So Stephen Thompson's up next. He says, Lee, let's get a verticutter for the OG Revolution 26. All right.
I think there's a prank going on.
No, I think here's the thing. You know what it is? You know why you're getting so much thing about verticutting is that it's the next level. So let's say you've got a good nutrient program, you're real mowing, you're doing all this stuff. Like verticutting is the next thing that will really elevate your lawn. So that's what the people want, man. You gotta be that guy. You gotta give it to them.
Working hard on it, promise.
Yep. Okay, next up we got Mace. He says, 12 hours ahead in Macau. Oh, wow. We appreciate that. He says, hey, Ron. Good morning, guys and girls. Let's get grassy. Hi, Lee. Thanks for being available. Very cool. Macau's here.
Letting me be on the show. This is great.
Other side of the planet.
And I'm sorry for the audio problems earlier. I feel embarrassed.
It's okay, man. Buddy. It's worked out. We're here now. We build it while we fly. All right. Next up is Jason Harrison. He says, hey, Ron, highly looking forward to the real version Verticutter 26 top. So that's a good question, Lee. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to release this as yet. Maybe you want to, if you can't talk about that part, I get it. As far as width on the Verticutter, are you thinking 20, 26, somewhere in between? Don't want to disclose yet.
No, I think we're going with the 26. That's the frame that we're using.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a good call. Yep. I think it's actually a good call. So yeah, very, very cool. And probably obviously grass catcher to be able to catch all the debris from verticutting is what we're thinking.
You definitely need a grass catcher, so you've got to be able to collect it because there's no reason to keep chewing it up.
Yep. Okay. So there you go. Short grass living is up next. He says
a few times.
Huh?
It's funny. I said you and I have talked about this a few times in the shop. It's funny to hear the questions and things we've discussed. So yeah, definitely gotta have a grass catcher for it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that is the biggest thing. So you talk about you take something like a slit cedar or a Sunjo, which are great. They're great pieces of equipment. But the thing that makes verticutting not like horrible, where you don't actually hate it, is the fact that if you can catch most of the trash, most of the debris that you're taking out of the lawn. Because I have verticut my lawn, or better yet, I've had my lawn verticut before, where they verticut it and all this stuff just stays there, and then you got to go through and rake all that stuff up, and it is backbreaking work. So a grass catcher is, I think mandatory for really being a viable option.
When you put a cartridge in a reel mower, you're really
Mhm,
limited on what you can do with the verticutter. Like
mhm.
the opportunity to make a really good verticutter is wide open when you don't have it in the mower itself as a cartridge. Like the limits, there's unlimited possibilities. So you can change the direction of the spin. You can do so many other things that we're really not going to get into. But when it's not a cartridge and it's not in a reel mower, you can do so much more with making a great verticutter
I can
standalone.
see that. I can see that. I can see that. And I mean, and if the Revolution is any indication, the verticutter is going to be pretty awesome as well too. So can't wait. Shortgrass Living says, I haven't pushed the lawn, trying to get a hold of my new 20-inch Revolution. Come on. So those are dropping soon, I imagine, right? Lee, I'm thinking the 20s.
Absolutely. So our 20-inch are in the port of Savannah right now. We're just waiting on them to get to here. So we'll be shipping all the orders for the 20-inch, and then we'll have surplus inventory of all the mowers starting probably Monday. That's when we're expecting our
Nice.
delivery. So we're excited.
Very
It's
cool.
first spring load.
Nice. Very cool. All right. So next up is Ninos Yokana. He's a question. He says, do I need to have a perfectly level lawn to be able to use I think you're probably saying reel mower, to be able to use a reel mower? I say no. What do you say, Lee? What do you think?
That's good branding that he said real roller.
Right. Well, real rollers is now synonymous with real mower. Real mower, same
No,
thing, right?
teasing.
The two
No,
are one.
I was thinking about that before this because we had some customers here. You absolutely do not need a perfectly level sanded lawn to use a reel mower. It's amazing how much forgiveness a reel mower gives you versus a rotary, which is what most people come from.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a rotary mower that has four wheels with 1 inch of contact, and they're 21 inches apart, pretty much. Maybe 18 across the front, but 21 is usually the width. Every divot in your yard, every little change in your terrain makes that rotary mower move. With a reel mower, traditionally, you definitely have a front roller. So anything that's going left to right, you've pretty much taken yourself to a level plane, even if it's uneven. It's going to stay at the highest point. And if you get a reel mower with a rear drum as well, it's amazing that almost any yard, as bumpy as it can be, you can easily cut with a reel mower at 3/4 of an inch and not scalp at all. The people that want to get to the 1/2 inch scalp mark and then cut at 5/8 or that
Mm-hmm.
range, maybe then you need a reel mower, need a level. But I think what's critical, and I tell people all the time, don't sand, don't level before you get a reel mower. I think our biggest success has always been to reel mow at 3/4 of an inch for a season. Let it get dense, let it get thick, let the rollers smooth out a bunch of the sod pieces and the uneven
Yep.
pieces when the soil's moist. And then year two, then look at it after a full season of reel mowing and say, hey, where's my low spots? And do that around, May through July, and go ahead and level out them. But I think people try to do it in advance, and you don't need to. You really need to see what you're working with after reel mow in a few years.
I like it. Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, the fact of the real mower cuts, you can get by with cutting at least at the same height, and to your point, quite a bit lower without scalping. Just due to the design of a real mower. So to answer Nino's, no, you don't. The lower you go, though, you are going to eventually go on to consider sanding it. But and it's funny. I didn't take a picture. I should have taken a video of the lawn before. But if you look at how my back lawn looks, like this is from this afternoon, you see how flat and smooth and how defined the stripes are. That is literally from making two passes with the mallet over this line. And what you're getting and you'll see a couple things. One, the stripes are very nicely pronounced, and it's not coming across in video, but the lawn also looks flatter, looks smoother because you have this really, heavy piece of equipment. And as Lee pointed out, a couple 100 pounds. That's literally rolling any little high spots down. So it's almost like you're also rolling the lawn as part of it. And if you do that over several seasons, yes, there's benefits to top dressing, but you'd be surprised how good you can get a lawn looking just from the fact that you're reel mowing. And it's healthier for the turf. You can stripe it better, and just there's tons of benefits. So. Great
One last
stuff.
thing, just think the rotary mower's never been doing that for you. If you've been
Mm-hmm.
using a rotary mower for the last 8 years, it's done nothing to make your yard more level or smooth or anything because just two wheel marks are all that's going.
putting ruts in it. Actually, if anything, is putting ruts. You got all these these hot spots, right?
Sure.
Yep. All right. So we got Earl West up next. He says, "Is a reel mower the way you get stripes?" Not necessarily, but here's why reel mowers in general produce stripes, or why striping is synonymous with reel mowers. The stripes that you see, and I'll actually talk through it while I show some. So the stripes you see, the light stripes are passes where the grass is folded away from me. The dark stripes are where the grass is folded towards us, towards the camera, right? So stripes really come from bending the grass, the sunlight reflecting off the grass, and the grass being bent in a uniform fashion. So can you pull that off with a rotary mower? If you put like a roller on the back of it, like a heavy roller, yeah, you can get some stripes with it, but it's not going to be quite as good as what you get with a reel mower. Because you look at something like the Revolution, you've got this big, heavy, I think it's like 17 pounds. How heavy is that front roller? 17 pounds?
18 pounds. Yeah.
18 pound front roller. And then you've got the rear drum that's a lot of the weight of the mower on the back as well too. So you got not one, but two rollers that are basically rolling the grass in the same direction as it's being cut. So they just do a better job. Not saying you can't stripe with a rotary. People do it, but you're not going to get stripes that look like that. I mean, that's just not that. I mean, I would love to see a rotary cut lawn that has stripes as burnt in or as pronounced as what you get with reel mowers. I don't typically see it. So not strictly necessary, but for what you're looking for, Earl, yes. Yes. All right. So great question. Appreciate that. We'll move on to the next one. So Lee, as far as while I'm looking for the next question, news for reel rollers. I mean, so you have the new sharpening service that you guys are doing, the 20-inch. Any other news? Anything else that people should be knowing about? That are in the pipeline that things that you want to share with them?
The reel mower service is probably the biggest step. I mean, that was,
Nice.
for the longest time, just to be transparent, it wasn't a business that we really wanted to get into. But as we continue to grow and we start to see the demand and some opportunities opened up, the ability to be able to service reel mowers, and it's given me a whole new perspective to understand a whole different side of the business as it relates to grinding, the difference between relief grinding, grinding a bed knife, a spin grind, backlapping. I've known these things, but I haven't been able to physically do them myself. So to learn from, one of the best mechanics that is in the area, Anthony, and to see him firsthand put these relief grinds on and how they hone a mower in, it's been really educational for me to have a full understanding of the reel mowers on a different level. Because, traditionally it's been operating them and being a homeowner and being a peer to everybody on this call. But now being able to be behind the scenes and offer real service so folks can come bring them, we can answer questions. It's made us a one-stop shop fully, because that's a big thing. And then the other big thing that we have going on is we just brought on McLean. So, traditionally we've had True Cut, we've been a dealer for them and a parts distributor for them. Same with California Trimmer. Obviously our Revolution, we carry a lot of parts for Swordman. We brought on, McLean brought us on board. We're going to be handling a lot of their parts and be able to service McLean's as well. Because again, our passion is around reel mowing. It's not just a brand. And that's really how we got started.
Nice. All right, the $1,000 question coming up next, Mr. Alan Coleman Jr. He's not even waiting. He's not messing around. He says, Lee, any timeline on the turf party for this year?
There is. Right now we're looking at two dates. One's in late April. April 26th is one of the dates. But the only thing holding me back from that is that Ron has some karate commitment. So that may be a date, or the next date may be something in May. But, it starts to get hot in May. I made a pledge to my wife, and last year's Mother's Day gift was the Kentucky Derby, which is the first week of May. So can't do it that weekend. And then with spring break and a few other events in Easter, you kind of kill April pretty quick. So we're hoping for April 26th. If we can find another date, it'll probably be right around May, second week of May, which I think is like the 9th, was the other date that we were looking at. We will be sending something out here in the next 2 weeks because we want to do one so bad. It's just trying to squeeze it in and make it sense for everybody.
Sounds good. So there you go. Either late next month or mid May. We'll see. All right. Andrew Phillips is up next. He says, for Lee, I'm in Texas and like your reel mower, would I have to send my reel to you to get it sharpened? Right now, I do mostly backlapping on my current reel. But before I buy, I want to know how to get yours sharpened.
Great question. Number one, our mower and our reel is identical to, as far as the design and how you grind it, identical to a McLean trimmer or True Cut. So there's any dealers out there, service shops that service a McLean trimmer or True Cut, our reel, as far as the relief and how it's designed, is something that they can easily grind for you if it's local and easier for you. Um, as far as backlapping, most folks can get away with backlapping usually 2 to 3 seasons before they need to send it in to get a new relief grind. And one of the things that we offer is that reels by mail. So if someone wanted to send us their reel because they didn't have someone local close to them every 2 to 3 years when they needed a new relief angle put on it, that's definitely a service that we offer and something that you can do with the Revolution, because by design we made the reel, the bed knife holder, all the assembly that holds that together, one unit that can be brought out as one unit. And that's what we need to grind and put a brand new spin grind so it's perfectly cylindrical, and then add a relief to it so to make sure you can backlap it going forward. So
Nice.
that hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, Andrew. So you can either send it in or you can find someone locally. You got options. Mace says the cost of purchasing a mower. I only have 1,500 square foot front yard, and the same for the back. I mean, still, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a smaller lawn. I mean, if you look at like Tom's lawn here, his front lawn is not very big, but he's got not just any mower, he's got a greens mower to cut that. So 1,500 square feet, I wouldn't let that like hold you back from getting a real mower. A benefit, it takes less time to cut. You can cut it more often. You know what I mean? So there's also that.
And also, you don't have to go new. It says you have to go new.
That's true.
Facebook Marketplace, there's so many mowers out there. If you just want to dip your toe in the water, start off with a $500,000. I know it's more than the average mower, but get in an entry mower and see if you love real mowing. So that's where I would start if it was me. That's where I started. Here's a $300 McLean.
Yep. You got to start used first. All right. Mr. Hayes says, hey, Ron, I attended a turfgrass conference in Greensboro, North Carolina today. Learned about herbicides, fungicides, and healthy soil and pesticides. Learned that everything can be put out to prevent disease. Very cool. Good stuff. Sounds like a fun time. Robert Rainey's up next. He says, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone is getting a little work done out in the lawn. Yeah, man. Again, double cut today. Sprayed out the front lawn earlier this week. It's already starting to die off, starting to turn brown. It's painful, but it should be fun. It'll be something fun. Here's the thing. I don't know that Zoysia will be the final answer, but it's something at least I'm going to be able to say that I've tried it. We'll see. Lee, you're of the opinion I'm probably not going to like it, though. You don't think? You're not sure?
Okay. No, I love it. I think it's a great idea to try something new. I'll never discourage that.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see, though. All right. JP's up next. He says, soil temps on Monday, 52.3 degrees pre-emergent, down. Blizzard on Wednesday. It's okay, man. Where do you live? That's a wild swing. All right. Next up is not this. Just Sovereign Design saying, always good to see you, Ron. Want to get moving here in Missouri or Michigan. So cool. Yeah. Should be up next. And then next up, we got Mr. Brett May. He says, Ron, I don't have 70-30 in my area for leveling. My plan is to aerate, then fertilize, then a thin layer of carbonized PN, followed by sand for leveling. Do you think this would replicate the 70-30? Yep, that would be great. So Brett, what you're talking about is absolutely what some folks do. They will either get a lot of carbonized PN and put that out after aeration. Some folks will get like carbonized PNG and do that because it's a bit easier to spread versus carbonized PN, and put that out heavily after aeration and then put sand on top of it. The big thing you want is to, while you got the soil opened up, when you got everything opened up, like adding a bit of organic material is always a good thing, right? It's going to just help. It's going to improve the function of your fertilizer. It's going to help improve the nutrient holding capacity of the soil, especially products like carbonized PN and carbonized PNG. So whether you decide to go with carbonized PN or the granular version, either one are going to work well. And what you're doing is something that, again, multiple folks have done. So yeah, it's a great plan. It's a great plan. I like it. Next up, we have James Yeager. He says, evening, Ron. Can't wait for a little warmer weather to top dress. Lawn is fairly smooth, just have some valleys. Should I just fill in the valleys or do the entire yard with sand? Only about 4,000 square feet. I would do the entire yard, because here's the thing. Even though you see like some lower areas, there's still going to be some small undulations, small little things here and there that still can be benefit from top dressing. And what you're going to find is this, right? The higher spots of the lawn won't take hardly any sand. Like you'll see the grass and you'll barely have any sand that will sit there if you're using a leveling rig to work it all in. The lower spots, which believe me, visually, you're going to have a hard time seeing. That's where the sand is mainly going to settle into. So I would do the entire thing personally. I would not just do I would do just part of it. I think that would be a mistake. You're kind of just losing out on some of the benefits of top dressing if you just spot level. I would do the entire thing. And next up we have, because Lee, it's a good question. While I look for the next one, for the turf park, how many rounds of top dressing have you guys done over the years? It's been a couple, I think, right?
Hmm. And I was sitting here thinking about what you're doing to your front yard, and I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
ask you what your plan is because I know
Oh,
you've been talking about it. But
yeah,
we've done 2 rounds of sanding, but I want to hear more about like what is your like really what is the plan?
sure.
You're taking a very nice Bermuda front turf. We've talked
Mm-hmm.
about it very sparingly. You asked me what grass type. You didn't take my advice. So outside of that, what type are you going with? What is the plan
Yeah,
as far as step by step? Because I think it's gonna be amazing.
sure. Yeah. So step by the first step is exactly what I'm doing now, which is I'm spraying out, I'm killing off as much of the Bermuda as I can. Mainly because it's going to give me less of it to fight whenever the zoysia is put in. So first of all, first step one is to kill off the Bermuda. The service that I'm coming in to do it, they are going to then run a sod cutter and cut as much of the Bermuda, the dead Bermuda sod out. They're going to till the lawn, mainly to get as much root up as they can and pull all that out. So the big thing is to try and remove as much Bermuda as they possibly can. There's still some that's going to break through, but that's the goal. The next thing I've told them is that even though the front lawn looks pretty good, and to everyone's eye, they look at it and say, "Oh, the front lawn looks great." There are certain like bumps and undulations that I see in it every single time I mow the lawn. So while it's all like going through this renovation, I'm going to take that time to go through and do a mild grade to get it like pool table flat. I have a couple bags of the super sod, their material, their compost that we're gonna put that out as well too. We're gonna till that in to the soil profile and then roll the entire thing. Make it as flat, as smooth as possible. Make this visually as perfect as we can. I'll put the sod down and then roll that. Make it as nice as we possibly can. The idea behind all this prep work is to one, help the Xeon to establish as quickly as possible, and then get it to the point where it's going to root in, and I can get out there and top dress it. Hopefully in June, maybe late June timeframe is what I'm going for. Hopefully if it roots in and is in good shape. So the idea is to just not just kill the Bermuda grass, and let's lay sod over it,
Hey,
but to
you're
go
doing
through. Yeah, like really do it upright. Like literally, like it's going to be a real renovation. They're bringing some equipment in to be able to do some of the tilling. So I'm going to film all of it. You guys get to see it. So some of it's going to be done by machine. Some of it's going to be done by hand. You guys get to see the entire process. It'll be a lot of fun. And again, if it all goes and I don't necessarily like it a couple of years from now, I can just repeat all over again and put in Tahoma 31. Maybe this is like a really long way of getting to Tahoma 31.
I knew you were going to be doing it to the nth degree. I just wanted to hear it because I knew
Oh
you were
yeah,
going to
dude.
do
It's
extra.
oh,
I just wanted to hear
it's
exactly what your plan was. So
it's
sorry.
no holes barred. It's no holes barred. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going hard, and I'm looking for, and part of it too is the lawn over the top dressing over the years has gotten higher and higher and higher. So one of the things they also said is, hey, you've got a lot of great material here. When we put out the leveling mix, we're going to grade as much as possible because they want to get the sod while just slightly above the sidewalk, not quite as high as it currently is. So it's going to be like an entire. It's going to be a whole thing to where it's literally the front lawn should look even better than the back because it should be pool table flat when this is all said and done. So we shall see. And if I get some breakthrough, which I'm sure, because Bermuda, you can't keep it down. Now is not a bad time to do that because now we've got recognition in Fusillade, so I've got a way to selectively get rid of the Bermuda grass if I have some breakthrough in my zoysia. So it's going to should be fun. Should be fun. If anything, it'll be just make for some good content, right? So we'll see. And as far as your recommendations, I know you are a big fan of El Toro.
Yeah.
El Toro, and so I was looking. I'll tell you, the zoysia I really wanted is one called Trinity. It's called, the actual name is L1F, but it's also known as Trinity. And you can't really get it around here because I called, believe it or not, I called all around seeing if anyone carried it. And it's a very, very, very fine leaf zoysia that the reason why it's called Trinity is it was used on a golf course in Texas, and I think the golf course maybe has Trinity in the name of it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful zoysia. It's again very, very fine leaf blade. But there's no one around here that carries it. I call the I guess it's the company that certifies sod farms to produce it, and they said that it's expensive and it's the kind of grass that it has to be real mowed. Like you can't grow it at like, inch and a half. It's designed to be kept at 3/4 of an inch or shorter, which requires real mowing, and most people aren't going to do that. And that, given also coupled with the cost of it, is just not practical. So that's why they don't even offer it in most states. So the next closest thing, he says, well, I'll tell you, if you can't get L1F, he said Xeon is what I would go with. Because that's what I asked him. I said, I want something that's going to be a really fine leaf blade, as disease resistant as you can get with zoysia, that that's just going to look nice, it's going to stripe well. He says, well, if you can't get L1F, which you can't get, he says go with Xeon. He says, worst case, if you don't like it, you can always go back to Bermuda. So that's how I ended up with Xeon. So that's the whole
awesome.
the whole story. So we'll see, man. It'll be fun. Again, the project starts. We're supposed to be doing the cutting out, and I believe the first week of April. I'll actually tell you. I believe April 2nd is when we're supposed to get the project rolling. I'm getting the sod from Super Sod. They're actually trying to get me to wait a little bit longer because even though the sod is greening up, they want it to be like really vibrant looking, its absolute best. And I said, whatever. I'd rather have it in. I don't, I'm not your typical customer. If it comes in and it's not like vibrant green in April, I don't really care. I just want it in so it can get rooted in. We can, the sooner we get it in, the sooner I can get to the process of getting established. So yeah, so we'll see. But April 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now, is when it's all supposed to start. Charging up all my camera batteries and writing some scripting and trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to film and how we're going to present it. So should be fun. We'll see. It's supposed to take 2 days to get it all done. We shall see. All right. Next up is Travis Kriegschauer. He says, my 2 favorite grass guys. Thank you, Lee, for the great support call a few weeks ago, all set for domination in North Carolina. Ron, thank you for the great content and education. You're very welcome. I gotta tell you that every time I go by Real Rollers, I mean, in years past, it'd be fun. It'd be weird if I could go by there and actually catch Lee's. We could have a conversation. But every time I go by there, especially these days, either he's working with a customer, working with someone that has a question about reel mowers, or one of the guys on his team are. So, they don't just sell reel mowers. You can tell that they really, really enjoy it and really enjoy helping people get better lawns. Like, you want to see his face light up, ask him about a reel mower. I mean, look, he sells the Revolution, and I don't think Lee's really ever seen a reel mower that he doesn't like. So, he's definitely all about that. All right. Let's see here. Next up is let's see. Yes, we have Mr. Hayes says, sorry, I meant like herbicides can be put out as pre-emergent, insecticides and fungicides can be put out as pre-emergents. You don't have to treat as problem areas, treat before it shows. Yeah, that's a great point, Mr. Hayes. Yeah, so whenever I did I got my certification went through the course in turfgrass management from UGA. That's exactly it, right? So when it comes to disease and insect damage, right? So there are certain times of year and really certain conditions where certain grass types are more prone to having disease. So like you have like large patch in a Bermuda or zoysia lawn, when you get into the late spring, when it gets more rainfall, more humid temps, that's if you're going to have a disease problem, it's more likely to happen then. So that's why if you look in our calendar on the Golf Course Lawn Store, we have fungicides in like May and June, and it's done preventatively. Kind of like how pre-emergents are done in spring and fall. Fungicides, I find, are best used preventatively, and a good time frame for doing that is in the May-June time frame. Because if you wait until a disease problem shows up, one, you got an eyesore on your lawn, and if you put out a fungicide, it's not like you apply the fungicide and it reverses the damage. Like it stops the spread, it stops it from getting worse, and then however long it took you to catch it, that and then the extent of the damage you have, that's you're just waiting for the lawn to naturally heal. So better to help prevent that in the first place. And when it comes to insecticide, same thing, right? Like grubs have a certain life cycle they go through, certain times of year when the larvae are more active when they're eating at the roots, and you can apply an insecticide to help to target them at that time. So for most people, we're in late March now, so late March, early April, great time to get out a preventative insecticide, and then again in late July, August timeframe. So you are absolutely correct. What you learned is absolutely correct. If you treat fungicides and insecticides, not necessarily like pre-emergence, but if you treat them like for preventative use, you get the benefits without waiting to have damage or issues in your lawn. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. It's a great point. All right, Brett May is up next. He says, I did something similar to that last season. I mixed a half bag of carbonized PN with 3 buckets of sand as my ratio and top dress with that. Had really good success with it. Yeah, so that's a good point too, Brett. If you have, depending on how big of a property you're dealing with, right? Because if you have a lawn 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet or less, that approach could definitely work. It is more work, but if you've got a larger property, unless you got a way to manually mix that much material, it's or to use a machine to mix that material faster, it could be quite a bit of work to do that manually. So what you are suggesting will also work as well too. All right. We're talking a lot about top dressing. While I look for the next comment. So Lee, any plans for you? Any top dressing going on this year? Turf Park or your home, or any plans?
We did it all last year. We're actually going to take a year off. Um, when you do top dressing, I feel like, you do a lot of soil changing and movement. You also mix up the weeds. And I just feel like I need a year off of messing with my soil just to really get the weeds out, get the yard just pristine. My micronutrients need some love. So I know that going into this season after my soil test. So I'm trying to nurture this year. This is my year to try to really just focus on not messing things up and just take care of the yard. And it's so easy to want to verticut, aerate, and just beat the yard up, level. This year I want to just see what it's like to nurture her.
Okay, fair enough. It'll be cool to see. All right, next up is APAT3 from Instagram saying, Happy Friday. I put out Ferromech with, I think you're saying PGR, with no yellowing. Is there any downsides? No, from what I understand, I think that's an iron product. So yeah, whenever I spray growth regulator, I will mix liquid fertilizer along with it. Typically fertilizer that has iron in it. Like our 22-3 fertilizer that we carry on the Golf Course Lawn Store has iron in it. So if you mix that along, or you mix growth regulator along with a liquid fertilizer, particularly one that has some iron in it, that can do a lot for helping to prevent tip burn. Also, you can just also spray it at lower rates. So instead of using growth regulator with the strategy of doing it once per month, spray it every 2 weeks. You're gonna get better regulation. Like the lawn's not gonna really come out of regulation over the entire season, and you drastically reduce the chances of you having any tip burn. So what you're doing is exactly right. APAT3, like I'm trying to think if I can't think of a single time I've ever sprayed growth regulator, like I've ever sprayed Primo and not sprayed fertilizer mixed along with it. Like it's pretty much always been a thing whenever I've done that. So what you're doing is right on track. I like it. Mace says, can growth regulators be used on cool season grass? Thanks. Absolutely. They can be used on cool season grass. Both the label for Primo and the label for a new EZ. Both of these guys have rates for cool season grass. And yes, you can absolutely use growth regulator on cool season grass. There's tons of benefits to it, just like you can on warm season grasses. I wish Devin were on here now because he'd be singing his praises. Like he's a golf superintendent at the club at a Flying Horse. It's a golf course in Colorado Springs. And I forget how much Primo he told me they use. Like they get it on a pallet. And it's all cool season grass, right? So absolutely, you can absolutely use Primo or growth regulators on cool season grass. Something to keep in mind as well too, Mace, like, we talk about growth regulators a lot from a standpoint of slowing down how quickly the lawn grows. But another benefit to Primo in particular is like seed head suppression. So like one of the issues that you find in a lot of cool season lawns is if you have Poa annua in it, like annual bluegrass, the thing that really makes Poa look ugly, in my opinion, is whenever it starts throwing seed heads, and Primo can help suppress that. So even from a standpoint of, slowing down the rate of the grass or slowing down your mowing frequency. That's one benefit, but also seed head suppression is another benefit to growth regulators. So yeah, absolutely, you can absolutely use them on cool season grasses. There's no problem at all. You absolutely should be doing it, in my opinion.
It seems to be the
Let's see.
time seed heads are starting to come up.
What's that?
Like this seems like the time seed heads are just starting to get going too. I'm already starting to see them in my zoysia.
Yep.
You got to stay on top of those. You can't let them get ahead of you.
No, for sure. And the thing is, seed heads are a stress response. So whenever the grass is moving from cooler temperatures to warmer, or from cooler to warmer, is when you're more likely to see seed heads. So in my lawn, it's still too early now, but when we get into like May, there's like a 2 to 3 week period when seed heads will become more of a thing. And if you have a good nutrient program, it shouldn't really be much more than that. It should be a couple of weeks and then you should be good. If you use growth regulator, they're going to be a lot less apparent. So that's a good reason to use Primo, to use a new EZ. So if for anything, that's a good reason to actually do it. And that's another reason why I will get growth regulator into the plant prior to those conditions. So really, from a mowing requirement standpoint, the lawn Bermuda doesn't really light off around here and really start growing really aggressively and fast until you get into like mid to late May. That's when it really starts to really take off. But the reason why I will start using PGR mid-April, late April, is to start getting the growth regulator, get it into the plant ahead of the conditions when seed heads are more likely to be a thing. So they're just a lot less of a problem for me. So just something else to keep in mind. Mace, kind of like what K-Mare was saying. You think of like fungi, you think about like pre-emergent herbicides as preventing weeds. You think about fungicides being used preventative to help prevent disease. You can think of insecticides to help prevent lawn damaging insects. Growth regulator can also be used to help get certain advantages in the lawn ahead of the times of year when those things become a problem, right? Like seed heads. So I absolutely would use them in your program. I will tell you, there is life before growth regulator and life after growth regulator, and I cannot see not using PGR on my lawn. I love it. It's just awesome stuff. Like one of the best inventions outside of pre-emergent. One of the best inventions for lawn care, especially if you're a real mower, you're keeping it short. PGR is awesome. Okay. Travis, Lee's like, listen to Ron talk about growth regulators. Like, listen to me talk about real mowers, man. All right.
It's great. Wow. I'm thinking about splitting the turf park this year and doing half and half. You got me thinking.
So you're thinking what, half PGR and half no PGR?
On every plot.
We could. The thing is, you have so many people out there mowing it so much, you might not want it to slow down. But it would be cool. You could do like half and then
Let's see. Is there a difference?
Oh yeah.
Because no one does half their yard.
It definitely will be. I mean, the side that's sprayed is gonna tighten up. It's gonna be a lot denser. A good picture, a good visual. So I can bring this up here and show everybody. If we look at Primo, so the difference.
We're gonna do it, Ron.
You're gonna do it. So here you go. So that
spray paint right down the middle.
That's the difference between Primo. That's the difference that growth regulator makes. So on the left, this grass is the same lawn, or sorry, this is like the grass right next to like the edge of one lawn into his neighbor's lawn. So it's the same grass essentially. This stalk on the left that's kind of covered by us. Let me move us out of the way. This guy is no Primo, and this guy is with Primo. So you can see this the difference in leaf density that you get just from using Primo. So it makes a huge difference, man, as far as the mowing, less mowing, better color. There's just so many benefits to it. I mean, some people will say disease resistance helps the hardiness of the turf grass. I mean, there's just lots of reasons to use growth regulator.
I've
Absolutely
never done it because I wanted the grass to grow at the turf park. So I think it'll be fun to we'll do this on one half of the zoysia plots as well as the Bermuda. Let's just see if it works.
I got you.
I think it'll be a huge difference. I just want to see it.
Man, listen, you tell me when. I'll be over there with my spray. I'll bring my concoction over and we'll draw a line and we'll make it happen. I will even come do it. I have no problem with doing that. I will come do it. That way we'll be able to, we'll have it. You're busy and I want to make sure we're going to do it. It's going to be like every 2 weeks like it's supposed to be. So
I will miss it. Yes.
All right.
You're right.
Yeah. Cause you're a busy guy, man. You're a busy guy. I get it. All right. Travis, Craig Hauser says, Ron, what are you planning for growth regulators this year? I, of course, have Primo Max and I also purchased a new EZ. So what is your bi-monthly application for this year? Great question, Travis. So I'll give you the rates. So for Primo, I will do this. I'll give you the rates that are like if I were spraying 4,000 square feet, because the numbers, the math comes out easier that way, right? So 4-gallon backpack sprayer, 4,000 square feet, 4 gallons of water, right? So with Primo, the rate you can use is anywhere between half an ounce. So let me guess if I can get on this other camera. I'm gonna bring Lee back in here. The rate you can use is anywhere between 0.5, so half an ounce right there. So 0.5 fluid ounces in 4 gallons of water over 4,000 square feet. That is the rate. That is what you would use if you're spraying it every 2 weeks. And this is for Bermuda grass. If you have a different kind of grass, read the label. I've got like a blog post I'll link here in a second that'll give you the half rates. So half an ounce of Primo in 4 gallons of water. When it comes to a new EZ, the rate for this on Bermuda grass is anywhere between like 0.4 ounces all the way up to 1.2. That's kind of heavy. I wouldn't do that. So what I use for this is half an ounce per 1,000. So a total of 2 ounces of a new EZ, 2 ounces of a new EZ in 4 gallons of water over 4,000 square feet. So to recap, we take 4 gallons of water. We put half an ounce of Primo in it. We put 2 ounces of a new EZ in it. Add your liquid, your other accoutrement, your fertilizer, your biostimulants, whatever you're gonna do. Spray that over 4,000 square feet, and you do it every 2 weeks from the time you start until you shut it down in October, whenever the season ends. And then your lawn will literally, like, it's gonna substantially reduce how quickly your grass grows. The color is gonna be better. It's gonna be more dense. It's like there's the only negative, literally the only negative to this is that the cost of buying the product. But I mean, just from a standpoint of your turf, there's really no downsides to it, because by applying this every 2 weeks at lower rates, you practically eliminate the chances of any kind of tip burn or yellowing in the grass. And it's a thing of beauty. I can tell you, like, growth regulator is one of the best things you can do, especially if you remow your lawn. And I will, what I'll do is I'll get you a blog post that we have on this topic that talks all about plant growth regulation, why you should do it, why it's awesome. And I'll link that in the chat, because in there, it has all of the application rates. So I went through, actually, I'll show you here really quick. I'll link it in the chat, but also, why talk when I can show, right? That makes it even better. Here we go. This is the blog post, and there it is on the screen right now. Okay, so this blog post all about plant growth regulation. Talks about how you can make your lawn thicker and greener. Talks about what PGRs are, why they're awesome at a basic level, is how they work, about Primo, like what the active ingredient is in it, like how much it treats, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with the new EZ. But then we get down to the meat and potatoes, right? We get down to the good part down here, which talks about how to prevent the dreaded tip burn in your lawn. So if you look on internet forums, one of the negatives you hear people say about growth regulator is, I applied it and it turned my grass yellow. And that can absolutely be a thing if you, one, overdo it, or if you overdo it. That's the primary reason why it happens. So a way you can avoid that is, instead of spraying it per the label every, like, once a month, spray it every 2 weeks, but reduce the rate. So you're saying, well, now I got to do math. Not necessarily, because what we've done is we've added a table here that says, if you're spraying Primo at half rates every 2 weeks, here's your rates for cool season grasses. Here are your rates for warm season grasses. And if you're doing a new EZ, same thing, which I'd recommend. Here are your rates for cool season grasses, and here are your rates for warm season grasses. And if you want just to be able to see it done, this video shows how I do it. There's different ways you can play with it. You can jockey the rates as you see fit. But this blog post covers all that. And again, I cannot say enough, like, how much I enjoy growth regulators, the benefits of them. So I'll link this here in the chat for you. Hopefully you get some value out of it. It's not hard. If you can spray liquid fertilizer in your lawn, you can spray growth regulator, because it can all be done at the same time. All right, so here you go at Travis, and boom. How plant growth regulation can make your life awesome. I should rename that blog post. How you can be the envy of your neighborhood, because everyone will wonder how you're doing what you're doing in your lawn. All right,
You did it.
yeah, how you did it. Okay, moving on. We have Devin. See, here's the thing. You got Devin riled up. He's like, he says, Mace, yep, PGRs, he didn't just say can be. He said they absolutely can be used on cool season turf grass. Well, what do you speak of? Of course they can be. He says, just be extra careful to read the labels, as rates are pretty different versus warm season grasses. Very true. What I tend to find, Devin, is that the rates for cool season grasses tend to be, I mean, at least compared to hybrid Bermuda, tend to be quite a bit higher than what we would spray on our lawns. Like if we sprayed cool season rates on our hybrid Bermuda, you might have some issues. So it tends to be more for cool season grasses. All right, Hickey pops up next, says, happy Friday, Ron. Have a great show. Let's all hit the like button for Ron. It's free. Let's definitely do that, guys. You got 120 people in here, only 84 likes. Hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. So Lee, so for the turf park party, once the date is figured out, I guess what can people expect? I mean, I know it's still being finalized and everything, but are you going to have mowers out? Can people be able to run mowers? And I guess you're going to have all that set up for them. Like what are the plans just at this point? I know it's subject to change, but what are you thinking?
I mean, it's usually the same kind of theme, and it's been just a tremendous success in the past.
Mm,
The goal usually is to have a 2 or 3 hour event where we'll have the entire property set up. We'll have every type of reel mower out there. We'll have a McLean trimmer, True Cut, Catalyst, Rolux, Swordman, Allet, John Deere Greens, like in the Revolution. We'll have them all lined up, and that was what was cool this past fall when we did it. Was even though it rained, we had a moment where we got to go out there, and it was just awesome to be able to go out there and try different mowers and actually see others using different mowers, because so many people don't get the opportunity to try, say, 4 different lawn mowers at the same time,
good point.
and then decide what they like best. Usually you go and you look at one and you say either yes or no, and then you go try another 2 weeks later. So one of the unique things that we take pride in is actually having every brand of mower, even ones we don't sell, because ultimately, if you get into reel mowing, that's our goal. I know it doesn't, make the most sense always, but I mean, ultimately, if you like a different brand, you like a different mower, if you get into reel mowing, it's just a different experience and a different type of environment and different type of friendship that you have with people. And we get to meet, I think you drove by today, Ron, you're dropping something off. There's 3 guys on the turf park. One guy that just bought a new property and has never mowed his yard in his entire life. He had a landscaper forever, and he said, new house, new sod. I'm a new man. I want to start mowing it myself. I want a reel mower. Then we had another gentleman that lived down in Atlanta, and he's been reel mowing for 20 years, and he analyzed every grease fitting, every bearing. It was awesome. But that's when you drove by today. And it was just cool to see these guys look at this. And the guy, admittedly, the guy from Atlanta said, my wife thinks I'm crazy. This is my thing. This is just what I get into. And it's same as me, same as you.
Yeah.
And it's a cool passion.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very cool. So make, whenever the dates get released, if you can carve out some time out of your schedule, it's going to be a good time.
Sure.
All right. Buddy Brown says, I forgot to put pre-emergent out this season. There's a ton of weeds in my lawn. What do I do? Well, so what you do, buddy, is you can use post-emergent herbicides. So herbicides that are designed to control weeds that are currently in your lawn to get them under control. So you didn't tell me what kind of grass you have, whether it's cool season grass or warm season grass, but you would pick a herbicide that is appropriate for your particular grass type, and you would use that to control to get the weeds under control. What I would tell you is that still put a pre-emergent out. I mean, even though you're a little bit late, depending on where you are in the country, it's still going to get some benefits from applying pre-emergent. You can be better off doing that than if you don't do anything. As far as cleaning up the weeds, you can use, I'll show you some examples of herbicides. If you go to shop at the Golf Course Lawn Store and Weed Killer, we have kits, one for warm season turf grass, which is consists of 2 herbicides, one for broadleaf, one for sedges and certain grassy weeds. And then we have a herbicide kit for cool season turf grass. Same thing, your crabgrass, broadleaves, and also sedges. And so the best answer to your question as far as which herbicide is going to be the best fit, it depends on what weeds you have in your lawn. So what kind of grass you have is thing one. That's the most important, because that's going to narrow down what we can actually use on your lawn safely. And then what weeds you have in your lawn, that's also going to narrow down the list as far as what herbicides that will have good control against the weeds you're trying to target while also being safe for your turf grass. And then it's just a matter of doing that, spraying it, being patient, this time of year, 2 to 3 weeks, and you should see some pretty good results with it. And then just plan for that, for your next opportunity. So in the fall, to get your pre-emergent out, right? So pre-emergent, again, is one of the best tools you can use in keeping weeds out of your lawn, or at a minimum, like substantially reducing the amount of weeds you have to contend with. Like if you don't use pre-emergent, like you're playing the game on hard mode. Like it's going to be difficult. You're going to be always spraying for weeds. It's a pain. So, all is not lost. Without knowing what kind of grass you have, I can't give you a product recommendation specifically, but we have pretty good documentation here on the Golf Course Lawn Store. So if you go to this link and just read through the different kits, you'll be able to get the one that's correct for your grass type. So hopefully that helps. All right, this is a good one for Lee. It's a question about robot mowers. And Lee, and here's the thing now, be nice. Don't rough him up too much. He says, what do you think about a robot mower like the OSR1, the first real mower robot soon to be on the market? Can that do as good a job as larger real mowers? Greets from the Netherlands. What say you?
Say me. I think it takes all the fun out of real mowing. That says me. I mean, I enjoy the exercise, the being out there, the gratification of me doing it. So for me, it could be amazing. It's just not my style. I'd pay a landscape company if I didn't want to do my yard.
That's exactly it. So I mean,
That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, will robot mowers eventually get to the point where they can produce like a striped lawn? Because the one thing I haven't seen yet is they don't tend to stripe that well. But they're gonna solve that eventually. Like it doesn't violate the laws of physics that a robot mower should be able to stripe a lawn properly, right? So eventually it's gonna be a thing. So can a robot real mower produce a cut as good as you doing it yourself, stripes as good as you doing it yourself? Yes, absolutely. I mean, eventually it gets to the point where it's even better. But you know what it's like? It's almost like the difference between people that still buy manual transmission cars, right? Like there's really no reason like these days to buy a car with a manual transmission other than the love of driving, right? Other than the fact that you're involved in it, you're enjoying the process, the mechanical process of driving, like heel and towing, matching your gears, just all that goes into that. So even though it from a standpoint of efficiency doesn't necessarily make sense, there's a certain enjoyment that comes to it. And real mowing is like the best way. Like I do some of my best thinking when I'm out mowing the lawn. Like if I'm having a bad day, I'm never in a bad day. I'm in a bad mood after I'm done mowing the lawn, ever. Just never is the case. So if you're looking from a standpoint of can this thing produce, will you be able to get a robot mower that will eventually be able to do that? The answer is yes. Eventually it will be a thing. I don't know if it's there yet, but eventually you'll find a robot mower that can do that. But it's not. That's not the point. I guess is the reason why. That's not the point. Like it takes the fun out of it, right? Like I think for some people it's going to be a great thing, but for a majority of folks, no. I mean, you know what? If I had a massive lawn, I could see maybe using a robot mower on like maybe the area that I just don't feel like mowing. I don't really care about, but like the front or the area that I personally say I'm going to own. This is going to be mine. I'm going to still want to manually do it. For the same analogy I said, like the difference between like a person that drives a car with a manual transmission versus a person that drives a car like a manual gearbox, clutch, just like everything that goes into that, it's the same thing. So
I disagree. I don't think you would do it. You'd be on a tractor riding a bush hog. You'd have a riding mower. Like you would not give it up to a robot.
I have a gang reel. Have a triplex.
Yeah. You just wouldn't give it up to a robot. I mean, that's just too much.
No,
it's going to be great. Cut. I agree with everything you said. The fun of this is really being part of it.
Yeah. It's fun doing it. Like I just like it. Like it's funny. Anytime someone reaches out to me, like I'll see someone walk by and I'll be out there mowing and they say, "Hey, I want a lawn that's just like this," and I'm like, "Be careful what you're wishing for, man. I don't think you know what you want." Or folks that say, I want to fire my, they'll call the business or I'll get an email from someone that say, "I want to fire my landscape company. I want a great lawn. I don't want to have them do it anymore." And I always try. I'm not sure to say you can't do that, but I try and talk them off the cliff a little bit because you have to realize that it's a lot of work. Like the reason, like getting a lawn that looks like this is not easy. Like there's a reason why you can't hire True Green and get a lawn that looks like that because there's so much work, so much attention to detail that goes into that. Like I mean, you can feel the love in that stand of turf grass. You can tell the person that did this, that Tom, the work he puts into that. It's not just mowing the grass. It's just not just cutting the grass so he doesn't get a letter from the HOA. It's a thing of, it's like a part of him is being put into that. And a person that is going to get away from paying a service to do it and you're gonna take it on yourself. I always say, unless you enjoy working on your lawn and you have the time to do it, it's just, don't bother. Like it's something you really have to enjoy doing to get that kind of result.
Did you even notice how nice even the stones in the background, the gravel driveway had zero weeds in it?
I
Like
noticed
there's
that.
there's a I mean there's attention to detail right there. I
Hmm.
mean pristine. Everything's
Oh yeah.
pristine.
Oh
Well
yeah. He's
done,
not messing
Tom.
around. I mean, he's just showing off is
Yeah,
what he's doing. Is what that is. I mean, that's just how we. I mean, him, Robert. They're cut from the same class. There's no one. Oliver, same thing. I mean, they're all. I mean, at some point, it's just showing off. But I get it. Subtle flex.
good.
All right. Next up is Jason Carney. It's a question for you, Lee. He says, Lee, on y'all's Revolution 26 video, the height of cut placard showing the sweet spot is between half an inch to 1 inch. If you go below half an inch, what changes in the cut quality will you notice? Can't wait to purchase my Revolution 26.
Great question. Originally when we launched the mower, we launched it only with a 6 blade. And
Mm.
honestly, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, most of the majority of homeowners at Real Mo find themselves between a half inch and 1 inch. So we designed the Revolution with the 6 blade reel originally to be the sweet spot between a half inch and 1 inch. Now we now offer a 10 blade reel option for those folks that want to cut lower than a half inch. So can the 6 blade go below a half inch? Absolutely. And get a great cut? Absolutely. I mean, if you look at a true cut, for example, it comes standard with a 7 blade reel. Yet the height of cut sections go from a quarter of an inch to 2.25 inches. So they're saying that you can mow a 2 inch gap, essentially, with a
Mm-hmm.
7 blade reel. Now they offer a 5 blade, they offer a 10 blade, but the point of it is there is a bigger band than just that half inch band of half inch to 1 inch. But we really felt like we wanted to highlight for those people that are new to reel mowing, those people that are new to this experience that, hey, if you're going to get a reel mower, this is kind of the sweet spot most homeowners live in. And let's build our mower to be in that sweet spot. But if you want to go sub half inch, we make a 10 blade reel for that. I don't have a sweet spot placard to go with it, but you can improvise if you don't mind. But that's definitely what our intent was with the placard.
Nice. Yep. And to be fair, between 0.5 inches to 1 inch, in my opinion, like 0.75, 5/8, 0.75, that's the area where like 90% of people should really be keeping their lawns. Like much lower than that, it's a lot more work. You start increasing the likelihood of you having disease problems, especially if you're not keeping your equipment sharp. The color's not as good. The stripes aren't as good. So that sweet spot of half an inch to 1 inch is spot on. I mean, that's exactly where I tell most people that you want to keep your lawn. Tom Havercap said,
And
oh, no, go ahead.
selfishly, I'm sorry. I was going to say selfishly, we didn't want some customers coming from a rotary mower saying they wanted to mow at 2 inches with a real mower. We just don't think I think that's a waste of money. If you're going to be cutting that high with a real mower, you might as well use a rotary mower. So we
Yep.
were purposely trying to segment the market to say, hey, if you want to get into real mowing, you want to get into a Revolution, you want to be in this range and
Right.
have them adapt to that kind of.
Right. If you're gonna do it like use the real mower at the height of cut where it really is gonna shine. Yeah. All right. Tom Haverkamp up next. He says, "Happy Friday, y'all. It is lawn season now. So much better. Happy spring." Yeah. And Tom, guys, that's the guy that's behind that. You know what I mean? I mean, just absolutely gorgeous, man. Wow. All right. Frank V's up next. He says, this might be a question even for Lee. He says, "Hey, Ron, can you backlap a reel too much? And if so, what would that frequency be? I backlap my push reel mower every month. Is that too much backlapping?" I don't necessarily think so. But Lee, what do you think? I mean, can you really backlap a reel mower too much?
You can't backlap a real mower too much. The only fear with backlapping as a whole is that when you backlap, you're spinning the reel against the bed knife, and the tolerances from the left to the right are based off the human. That's not that accurate. So the
Mm-hmm.
only concern with continuously backlapping like a long, long period of time is you absolutely will get a cone. Even when you backlap once, geometrically, you are going to take one side more meat than the other side. You can't physically do it for the most part without doing that. So if you continuously backlap over a long, long, long period of time, you really are going to end up with a very a coned reel, coned bed knife. And that's going to be the downside of it. Doing it for 2 or 3 years, you will get it a little bit out of whack. But when you take it back to a professional grinder, they're going to grind it with a spin, get it back to round, and then add a relief to it. So can you backlap it too much? You can't, other than hitting the vertical spirals. Eventually you run out of blade. But outside of that, you can't. But you are causing more and more cylindrical or missed cylindrical alignment with the reel and bed knife because it's just tough to keep it perfect every time.
Nice.
That's the
Yeah.
only
So
downside.
Frank, and really, if it's not cutting paper and you can't make adjustments to get to cut paper, then you would backlap. But just doing it just to do it, I'd say, why take material off when you don't have to? Let's see here. Austin Marshall says, could you talk more on why you decided to go for the full renovation on Xeon Zoysia? Okay, so it's not, here's the thing. That video, I did not think I was gonna get as many comments as I did. It is not the entire lawn, meaning, look here, guys, like all this you see here, that is staying just like that. That's all Bermuda, like, the 9,500 square feet, 10,000 square feet of lawn, that is staying Bermuda. This is not gonna get changed to Zoysia. It's gonna say exactly it is. It's only just the front lawn. Now, the reason why, just something different, something different to play with. I mean, I've wanted to have some Zoysia and to do something different for the lawn. Also go through a full renovation just to be able to film that and show the process that I would do for renovating a lawn. So this is going to be a great opportunity to be able to document that, have some good content on YouTube for it. The reason why Xeon is for the same reason I already said earlier. Like really the Zoysia I wanted is a grass called L1F or Trinity, and I can't get it around here. So the person that helps certify sod farms to produce L1F, I said, well, if I can't get L1F, what would you go with? And they said Xeon. I'm like, so that's like the closest to it. He says, yeah, the Xeon's really good grass. I mean, he says, that's what I don't know, if you can't get L1F, that's absolutely what I would do. So that's what I'm going with. We're going to see. The thing is, I was at the Real Rollers Turf Park yet today. Actually, yesterday I was there too, and I was actually walking on their Xeon plot, and I was looking at it, I was like saying, man, this is really thick and dense, and as it's got, I don't want to say spongy, but it's got some thickness to it. So I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to manage this. I don't want it to get too thatchy. Don't want to get it too thick. So it's gonna be a challenge. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Groomer though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can verticut it. I can do things to thin it out gently. Zoysia doesn't take nearly as much nitrogen as like Bermuda does, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun, something fun to play with. You gotta believe it's only 2,500 square feet. I'm gonna have it right. I'm gonna do my best to have it looking as absolute best. I mean, because here's the thing: if it's not, Lee told me to get like El Toro Compadre. I don't want to have to deal with the grief. He's gonna be like, "I told you so. I told you. You should have went with the one I wanted to go with." I'm gonna have to hear it. So
no, great grass.
So I'm gonna do my best. So but that's why Austin. Big thing is just something different, something new. That's all it is. I mean, what other options are there? I can't do St. Augustine. Can't do fescue. I mean, I guess you could, but I'm not gonna do fescue. So really, it's Zoysia or Bermuda. Those are the only grasses that will really grow here and live like throughout the entire season, right? So, and that I actually like to look at. So there you go. And he says, I agree with that philosophy, Lee, of avoiding cartridges for the sake of space. I love my Revolution. You guys are doing fantastic. Cool.
Appreciate it, Austin. Appreciate the support. It's always a risk.
Nice. We got James Yeager chiming in. He says, Lee, I got my Revolution last year. Love it. Yeah. I gotta tell you guys, the Revolution, I mean, and this is not just blowing smoke, not because Lee's here. So again, I still own quite a few reel mowers, but as far as like a non-greens mower, a mower that's not designed to be a greens mower that approaches the cut, and just the consistency of a greens mower, the Revolution is the best one that I have. Like the True Cut it's okay, it's a good mower, cuts great. But the Revolution, again, as you would imagine, you're talking about a mower where like you took the best parts of the different mowers and built that. And I've done it back to back. I've got a video on YouTube where I cut part of the lawn with the greens mower, 11 blade Toro, and cut part of it with the Revolution. And I asked people to visually tell me like what's the difference? What difference can you see? If I get down and I really look close, I can tell the difference. In the clippings, I can see the difference because the 11 blade is like it like dices the grass. But you stand back 5 feet and there's not much in it. The stripes are incredible. The way the mower is balanced, that's another big thing too. It's balanced well side to side, because what you'll find on my lawn, even though it looks flat, it's actually like almost like a mild bowl. So the problems that causes is that if you're running the mower along like the half pipe along the curve, is the part of the mower that's a little bit lower is going to cut lower than the part that's higher. And especially it's going to be bad if the mower is not balanced side to side. The Revolution does as good a job throughout the entire lawn cutting, like without like scalping or causing low spots, as my greens master. So it's as far as like a mower that just punches well above its weight, well designed, cuts well. I mean, you're really not going to be disappointed. Again, I don't make a penny on the Revolution. I'm just saying, if you're going to go buy one, if you're looking for a mower that's under $3,000, like that is, in my opinion, the one to buy. I may not use all mowers, but that's the one I would buy.
I still get to mow with every mower. I did it today, 4 different mowers, and it's just a different feeling. It's hard to explain, but it's just a grounded. I mean, we really did good on this. And that's the reason you'll see us coming out with other models and versions and iterations. And hey, we're going to add this engine, or hey, we're going to give you this option. Like, we really thought through this, and we really nailed it. And you see all the other manufacturers giving smooth roller, grooved roller, this option. Like, we really nailed it with this, and I feel really confident that. Not tooting our own horn, but it's every time a customer comes like today, it's validation that, you know what, we actually created something very cool and very unique, but it's really a good, solid mower for what it's priced.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the thing is too, I mean, people see the finished product, but I've seen a lot of the revisions that came up to that. Like, I mean, it's I mean, and that was the one thing. I mean, I got to tell you guys, like if there was a thing about it that was not right. Even like small things that a lot of you guys wouldn't even pay attention to, like how the grass deflector works and all that kind of thing. I mean, like Lee was always on the, making revisions, always tweaking to get it exactly right. And that's really the way it should be. Like, there's no grooved roller option for the Revolution because it already comes with one. There's really no options for the mower because it doesn't really need anything. Like, it's how it should be. Like, I mean, a mower designed you should not have to upgrade a mower that's designed in 2020, 3 or in the last 5 years. Like, a mower should come with everything you need. Like, we've learned enough about mowing that it should just be right.
Brand new mower, and you go and buy like a new roller. It's like, wait, it should have come with that.
No. It should come right. Yep, I agree.
Sorry.
All right. Terrence Stamps up next. He says, "Hey Ron, et al. This is the first year I sprayed pre-emergent. Look at you. Rather than using a spreader, is it necessary to overlap, or is it okay just to be close to my last pass? Thanks." So you want, like, I mean, a light overlap. I mean, not, in other words, you don't want to have a gap where none of the pre-emergent fell, but you don't want to overlap heavily, Terrence. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way of saying it. I mean, like the same passes you would make when you're putting out fertilizer, which I'm sure you put out granular fertilizer, that same way of doing that would apply for pre-emergent if you're doing granular. If you're doing liquid, which is what you did with your spray, it's the same thing. Like, you want not to where they overlap. Let's say this is a pass. You don't want like this, that would be too heavy. You want like that. Like, you want to where you want to where they're touching, but not so heavy. So here's a trick. Here's what I'll tell you what I do. Whenever I am walking for a pass down the lawn, I tend to hold the wand on like my right, not on my right side, but like in front of my right leg. And I walk down that way. And then when I turn and come back, I walk pretty much on the same line, maybe a foot over. And you think the wand is still on my right side, but now I'm over like a wand's width, right? And that produces a really good coverage for me. And as far as, and here's how you can tell too, right? If that's working well. My lawn is right around 12,000 square feet. It takes right at maybe a little bit less than 4 backpack sprayers, so enough product for 12,000 square feet to cover the entire thing. So what you can tell if you're applying it well and you're getting decent coverage is if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, it should cover about 4,000 square feet. A little bit more, a little bit less, okay. But if you're doing it and it's covering 2,000 square feet, you're overlapping way too heavy. If it's covering 5,000 square feet, you're probably not overlapping enough. So it's the amount of coverage you're getting out of your tank. Is also a good way to gauge as well, but very, very light overlaps. You don't want too heavy. You don't overdo it. So hope that helps, sir. Congrats on going to liquid sprays. I mean, there's tons of benefits, mainly because you can make all kinds of concoctions and save yourself a bunch of time too by going the liquid route. So good stuff.
Well,
all right.
It's not a best practice to have like this much left and just start spraying it across the yard.
Just have drift, just like make it get your lawn, get everyone else's lawn. No, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
Guilty.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Mm-mm. All right. Next up is Pedro Marmol. He says, "Hey Ron, how long before watering lawn after pre-emergent? Thanks for everything you do." So how long? So you can literally apply pre-emergent and water the lawn right afterwards. There's no problem at all with doing that. So there's no need to wait. And if the lawn is wet, it doesn't really matter. You can still apply pre-emergent, but you're just going to want to water it in afterwards. So the big thing is you want to water in pre-emergent after you apply it. So if the lawn has got a bit of dew on it, which most of the time when I spray my lawn, there is, I tend to spray in the morning. If I'm spraying pre-emergent or fungicide or insecticide or something that needs to be watered in, I will spray it and then water it in afterwards. So yeah, there's no waiting period really. You can literally run your irrigation right after you are done.
And that's a
No
good
issue.
tip is when you spray in the morning, you can see your footprints.
Yep, that's the other reason why I do it
Good way
too.
to space yourself. Yeah.
Yep, you get
way to pace
nice
yourself.
solid overlaps.
Cheat
Yeah.
when you can.
That's right. That's right. Benefits, man. Hey, it's only crazy if it doesn't work. Let's see. Next up is I'm in the kitchen. Says, how do I effectively treat Poa annua in March? Great question. So it depends on what kind of grass you have. If you have warm season turf grass, what I would recommend is a herbicide called Certainty, and you mix it with surfactant. So I'll show you where you can pick that up. If you go to the golf course lawn store, if you go to shop and then weed killer, Certainty, this in my opinion is the best herbicide, especially at the price point for controlling Poa annua and warm season turf grass. You're going to want to get the kit, or at a minimum get surfactant, because this is going to help improve the uptake of the herbicide. So Certainty and surfactant is going to do a really good job. If you have cool season turf grass, there is a herbicide that will, and if you've got, I should qualify this, if you have fescue and ryegrass. There are some cultivars of Kentucky bluegrass that tolerate it, but primarily fescue and ryegrass. You can go with Velocity PM. This, as far as a way to selectively control Poa annua, Velocity is pretty much, on a residential lawn anyway, this is going to be the ticket. I mean, we started offering this last year after New Farm released it. We've gotten really good feedback from customers on it. So this, if you got a cool season lawn, again, ryegrass and fescue, this is what I would go with. It is expensive, or it seems expensive. It's actually less expensive to apply than Certainty, believe it or not, because that 116-ounce bottle covers 7.1 acres, so over 300,000 square feet in that small bottle. So it's just the size in which they offer it. They're not going to make anything smaller. Believe me, I have asked them. I said, "Hey, is it coming like an 8-ounce or a 4-ounce?" They're like, "Nope." It says, if anything, it's going to be bigger. So that's the size. If you got Poa annua in your lawn, maybe some of your friends also have it too. Maybe you guys can go in on a bottle and you can split it if you got a cool season lawn. But Certainty for warm season turf grass, and then Velocity PM for cool season turf grass. The only other thing to keep in mind is that whereas with Certainty, you would use surfactant for best results, with Velocity PM, you do not use surfactant. And that is evident here as well, because when you look at our kit for Certainty, we offer Certainty, surfactant, and dye. With Velocity, you would not do that. Strictly, it's just the herbicide, water, and if you want to use a blue marker dye to be able to see where you sprayed, that's okay, but no surfactant with this. Just the herbicide and turf and a marking dye is really all you need. You don't want to use surfactant with that product. So hopefully that helps. I'll send you a link to where you can pick them both up depending on the kind of grass you have. I'm in the kitchen, and hopefully that is useful for you. Again, you can get them on the Golf Course Lawn Store. I'm not sure if this link is going to work on Instagram, but go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to Weed Killers, and that is where you will find them. All right. Very good stuff. Appreciate the question. All right. Next up, we have, this is the hardest part, man. Every time I scroll down, I got to find where I left off. This is the remainder of the season. Any recommendations to lower the K in my lawn, the potassium in my lawn? So far, Let's Go 1823 looks like a good option. Also, got a verticutter this year. Cool, very nice. What I tell you, Noek, is the best way to lower it is just to avoid adding more. There's not really an easy way to lower potassium or really any nutrient in a vacuum. Like typically, if you like what people will say is you can start bagging your clippings, but that reduces nutrient levels all across the board. So what I would just say, just don't, like, you get that fertilizer that's low in K, you could just go with that. Like that's going to be your best bet. Just don't add more to it. That's what I would tell you. All right, next up we got Andre Taylor. He says, "What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday." Tom Hoffenkamp is up next. Andrew, I thought I saw you, and you are there. Okay, Tom Hoffenkamp up next. Is Lee and Ron. Free, great idea. Oh, free for you. It's never like magic is never free, but we'll continue. He says, "Make us a verticutter insert for the Sunjo. Some companies have made their mark in the world just by making sweet rollers for other manufacturers' grass machines."
I've been laughing at this for like 20 minutes.
Uh,
Tom, I think it's hilarious. I think he's talking about our front rollers.
Oh, for
I
the
think it's awesome.
Sunjo, you could. I mean,
No, I'm with you, Tom. I think it's awesome. Good joke.
a verticutter insert, because I mean, it does have like a turf rake, and it has like a bladed, like a dethatching option, but not something that's really awesome for verticutting. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe
We got a plan.
you got plans. All right. Next up is Darren Proctor. I'll tell you this much, Tom. I don't know that Lee's going to do a verticutter insert for the Sunjo, but much like Apple, whenever he releases the verticutter, it's going to be everything you never knew you always needed in your life. That's all. I'll leave it at that. All right. All right. Darren Proctor's up next. He says, "Hey, Ron, Lee, and everyone. I want to thank you both for making my dream come true with my lawn. Verticutter, verticutter, verticutter. I have a local golf course that needs a verticutter as well." I don't know, man.
It's been a hot topic.
I'm going to change the name of the show. Like Lee from Real Rollers talks about verticutters.
Yeah, no, this is going to be good.
Yeah. Andre Taylor says, "I can't wait for my 26 10 blade delivery." That's a good point. So Lee, so I know there was the 6 blade was what it was originally released with. There is the 10 blade. What person really should consider the 10 blade? Is it if you already have a 6 blade, should you have a 10 blade just to have it to play with and just to have one? Or at what point would you tell someone 10 blade could be for you?
Let's talk about the downside. The only downside of a 10 blade really is that if you go a substantial amount of time without mowing, you go on a vacation or you just can't mow it every other day or every day. The more blades you have and you're trying to cut off a lot of grass at once, it tends to jam the reel and you tend to have to mow twice. It takes a lot longer to reset your cutting height if you go away for a period of time. So that's the downside of a 10 blade. Now, can a 10 blade cut at higher heights and look great? Absolutely. Can it cut really low and do great? Absolutely. That's really the downside, is that the downside of the 10 blade is if you're not cutting every day, that's the only part of this bad. But the great part about it is, if you really want to keep that pristine, tight turf at the half inch or lower, you do need that extra blade, those blades coming around to give you that nice, consistent cut, because you're only cutting off maybe 1/8 of an inch of grass if you're doing it right at, say, a half inch or at 3/8. You need that many blades to come around. Otherwise, the blades won't come around fast enough and they'll miss the grass, the little 1/8 grass blades that you're trying to cut. So it's really personal preference. It's definitely like almost a 90-20, 85-15 ratio. But for those that wanted a 10 blade, we wanted to at least offer that.
Yep.
And
Very,
Andre,
very cool.
the mowers are hopefully on a truck right now. So we will be shipping them out early next week. Can't wait.
Nice.
We're excited.
Very, very cool. Next up is Kevin D. Jones. He says, "Ron, thanks for unveiling your front yard project. It was killing me not to ask in the chat. Lee, I'm too embarrassed to bring my real mower. Was one arm real mowing last year and she looks bad. Surgery." Man, you just bring it in, man.
It's never too bad. Yeah.
They'll take it up. They'll
We're
take
here to
care
help.
of it. Hey, don't worry about it. You'll be good.
We're resurrected.
Yeah. Okay, Andre Flores says, "I have touched the like button. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. If you are watching the show, getting some value out of it, or at least being entertained, hit the like button. It's absolutely free." He said, "I'm watching and working on the leveling at the same time. It's coming out awesome." Yeah, so guys, so Andrew sent some pictures of his lawn. He is doing a renovation, doing some leveling. He is seeding his lawn with Royal TXD, which is a blend of a couple different types of Bermuda grass. And I'll show you that now. So he has got his material. He got it from the seed from Hancock Seed. He's going with our 14714 as his starter fertilizer. His next step is showing you guys the material that he's going with. You can see he's already got the lawn cleaned up really nicely. It's thinned out, really heavily. That's his material. And I got to tell you, that looks really good. It's good stuff, Andrew. It looks fairly clean from what I am seeing. It doesn't look like there's too much trash in there. And
Good
then,
tools.
yeah, man, got his rake, got a roller to help put it out, got his leveling rake. Man, you are set. And then finally, the work in progress. Looking good, man. You still got a lot of material on that
Helping is major.
driveway and quite a bit of lawn. So I guess you're going to probably making multiple passes, but yeah, you sent us that picture, but I know the blood, sweat, tears that it goes into that. That's a lot of respect, man. I salute you. So yeah, take more pictures, send them to us. I know you're out there right now working hard. So to send us pictures, we'll do an update next week and show folks how it all looked when you were done with it. But very nice, very nice. The amount of work you did for the preparation, I'm sure it's going to come out great. I can really tell. All right, Mace May says, Lee, not holding you to any price point, but what is the entry-level cost to get a real mower to become my daily driver? I want to join the Dream Turf team, guys.
That's a good question. So, entry level, never been ashamed to go into the Facebook marketplace. I mean, you can honestly get a pretty good reel mower anywhere between $600 and $1,200 all day long. A True Cut, a Trimmer, a McLean. I'm talking about residential reel mowers. You can get them somewhere in that range of, like I said, anywhere from $500 to $1,200 to get your feet wet all day long. And you'll have a tremendous yard. Like, you won't really notice the difference between a $2,000 lawnmower and a $800 lawnmower. Like, it's going to cut really well as long as the reel's being maintained correctly and you get a good sharp edge on it and a good fresh bed knife. You're really going to get a great looking turf. The benefits of going to maybe a newer mower or some of the more expensive mowers in the residential space is just the ease of maintaining them and using them. Realizing that this is something that you spend 2 to 3 hours a week doing at least, and making sure that that's easy on you and it's fun to do. And it's not, I just love my yard. I actually love mowing. And that's really what I realized as I had my journey was I really loved the result of my yard, but for so long, I didn't really enjoy the mowing part of the yard. I just liked the after effect. And then as time went on, it started with the Swordman way back when. It was like, you know what, this is fun to mow with this mower. So how do we create in the Revolution a mower that's actually fun to mow with? And I get also the gratification of the result. Yep. So as far as a new mower, a new 20-inch mower for the Revolution is $2,100, but some of the other brands you can get in there for around $1,600, $1,700 and have a great mower and a great experience.
Yep. Nice. So there you go, Mace. Got options. I would tell you, I am very much of the opinion of buy once, cry once. So the difference between $1,700 and $2,100 is not that much over the big scheme of things, but you're getting a lot more mower. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, the only thing, if I were in the market for a real mower today, if I'm not buying a Revolution, I'm buying a greens mower. Like, that's to me, that's really the only real separation that makes sense. But because in the market for what you're paying, you're getting so much machine. TR Play says, ever think about carrying robotic mowers? They're coming on strong.
For us, no, because it is for us the experience. It's the interaction. It's sharing that same bond with the people, or share that same passion that we have, or the same, as my wife calls it, my therapy. That's just kind of special to me. That's why I love it, honestly. The people and the shared bond of it.
Yep, that's true. I could totally see that. Andrew Phillips, sharpening is key for me, so your replacement system is great. Moving to San Antonio, and my next yard will be smaller with a new renovation of TIFF or Zoysia. Plan on mowing every other day. Boom. So nice. Sounds good, man. Sounds like a lot of fun. Joey Center says, would you verticut in the same direction as your burnt stripes or the opposite direction? Great question, Joey. I verticut in the same direction. So literally whenever I go out to verticut, every time I do it, I will change it, but I will show you really quickly here. So if I'm verticutting the lawn in this direction, say to and from the house, like the light stripes are me verticutting away, the dark stripes are me verticutting towards it. The same thing with turf raking. Whenever I turf rake, I will turf rake on the same stripes as I mow. So they get burnt in because all the cultivation practices that I do, whether it be mowing, verticutting, turf raking, they follow the same stripe pattern. So so yes, I would do that. I would not go backward. I would not go against the grain. I just wouldn't do it because again, if you want to see the difference, I'll link this video for you here in the chat so you can see what I'm talking about. But if you want to see how a lawn, like how much of a difference this makes, right? If you want to see a lawn that was like that's in pretty good shape, you see it get verticut, then you see it get turf raked, and then you see it mowed, and literally see how it changes from like each practice. Is all done over the course of 3 hours. Like I do my entire back lawn. I did this a couple of years ago for Memorial Day weekend, I think it was when I did it. You can see the entire process, and it's pretty spectacular to see how it changes. And same thing I'm telling you, I verticut and mowed and turf raked on the same lines that you see here. So I'll find that video for you really quickly, and I'll link it for you in the chat. Again, it's 3 hours, so you can, if you want to break it up or just watch the parts that you care about, you can do that because it's a live stream. I literally live streamed it. People said, "Oh man, it seems like a lot of work. I really want to see what the process is of how you do it." I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll drag all the stuff out there and I'll do it." And I did it. So now it's on the internet for you guys to be able to watch. So there you go, Joey. I'll say all the things video. There you go. So it just depends on how much time you have to do it, but you can see the entire process there. All right. So hopefully that helps, sir. Next up is Robert Wallace. Now, Lee, Robert Wallace, he's the one, you're an Ole Miss fan. I also, claim the Bulldog. Remember the first time we had the turf park party, the person that showed up there from South Carolina wearing whatever color, I think it's orange, whatever color they wear, that's Robert. So Robert, he says, happy Friday, Ron and Lee. Can't wait for the turf park party. Hey, Robert.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Should be a good time.
We'll get the announcement out here soon, I promise.
Nice.
I look forward to it every year. It's just fitting it in for a good weekend.
Nice. All right, cool. McNasty Motorsport says, tune in next week when Ron reveals he's converting the front lawn to artificial turf. You know what? You can never say never, but that's pretty close to a never, right? I think that's. I mean, is there any universe where you could see converting your lawn to artificial turf, Lee? No, I mean, no. I just, no. I mean, no. I just can't. I mean, I you know what? I would pay someone to rotary mow it before I did that. Like, that's just that, and that's a big movement. Not saying there's anything wrong with rotary mowing, but that's pretty much giving up. That's surrendering for if you have a Bermuda lawn. So no.
I mean, it is. It's part of the experience. To know you have to go home and mow, I know it can be daunting to some people, but to some people, it's like something to look forward to. And for me, it is. It's like, I can't wait to go home and mow.
I get it. Shanti, Lee, any chance your team will start selling used/refurbished Revolution 26s? Great option for those who want to start at a lower price point.
That's a great question. We actually do have some what we call demo mowers that we've had 2 to 5 hours on. They don't last very long, but we only sell those locally because we want people to put their hands on them, see them, know exactly what we've done to them or what they've been through or not. But we do have that for those folks that are local. Absolutely. We usually have them about $500 off. And it's usually maybe 10 a season. I think we've got like 3 left right now. We've gone through a bunch of them, but yeah, we do have those. We just don't ship those or send those over try to present those on our website because it's tough to really fully display every single thing on it. And we don't want to disappoint anybody. We want them to see it, touch it, and know exactly what they're getting.
Cool. So there you go, Shanti. If you're around here, stop in. Philip Marta says, hey, Ron and Lee, just moved into a new home with zoysia sod laid in January. Some seems to be growing in with lots of weeds and parts seem to be struggling. Irrigation runs every day. Soil test is on the way. Any tips on what to do? Also, can't wait for my Revolution 20 shortly, Lee. Thanks for the help. So what I'll tell you is this, Philip. It's a new lawn, it's zoysia, and it was established in January. So not the best time of year to necessarily do that. The weeds, yeah, you can use herbicides to clean those up, but I mean, I would not look at how the lawn is looking yet and really form an opinion because we don't have the temperature yet, the sunlight. Like, let us get into like May time frame, and the lawn should start looking a lot better when we get some temperature and more daylight. Because Lee, you got zoysia, right?
Just mow.
And just mow it.
I was just gonna say, just mow it. Just mow it for a while.
Yeah.
Let it get established. let it mow, and then I really wouldn't mess with it because it's still new sod. I would personally mow it till like May, even the weeds, just mow it. And then I would regroup around May when it's really established and it's kind of in its prime, and then decide what kind of herbicides or what you want to do to try to get rid of those weeds. But for now, just let it get established.
Yeah.
Just keep mowing it.
Good advice.
That's
Sharp
me.
mower and cut it. Jimmy Miller says, evening, Ron and Lee. Hopefully you have my email by now. Monday was my first scout with a real mower. Old Trudy was like a Timex. She took a licking and kept on clipping. Old True Cut. Yeah, man. Very cool. That's it. You're right, Trevor. So Trevor Schultz Golf says Trinity Forest. Yeah, that's the name of the course in Texas that Trinity is, or L1F is named after. So the actual cultivar name is L1F, but it goes by Trinity because of that golf course. And again, it is, if you get online, look up, just Google like Trinity Zoysia, incredible looking grass, but it's just not, like I called around here, and most of the sod farmers are like saying, you want what? We don't carry that. And then I actually called the people that certify it. They said, yeah, we tried it in Georgia, but one, it's expensive, and then you have to real mow it. So we didn't bother because most people don't, they wouldn't sell any of it. They'd sell it to me and, other crazy people, but not anyone else would buy it. So there you go. Andre Taylor says, Ron, since cutting out the Bermuda sod, did you have to kill it off? Lots of people could have benefited from them for that well-maintained Bermuda sod. Yeah, because really what I wanted to show is if I were doing a renovation, the cutting it out is a way to get rid of what isn't killed by the herbicides. It's to try to get as much of the root out, not necessarily as a way to help remove the grass. It's a way to it's like step 2 in that process. And then second, while it sounds good to give people Bermuda sod, it's just the logistics of it, right? Like I'm actually pretty busy. I have to have like random people showing up whenever, and I mean, you think about it, whenever the service comes out to come do all this work, they'd have to cut it all out. I'd have to find somewhere to stack all this stuff. And then unless one person's going to come and take all of it, I'm gonna have random people showing up at different times. It's like logistically, it's just a headache. And the cutting it out is just like, again, a second step to help try and remove as much of the Bermuda as possible. So you are right. You don't necessarily have to spray it out with glyphosate. I would, especially if you want to try and minimize the amount of breakthrough that you have with Bermuda. I'll probably still have some here and there, but if you just cut the sod out, you're going to have quite a bit more breakthrough versus if you use glyphosate and fusilate on it and then get all the sod out. So that's a part of it, Andre. It sounds cool in theory, but it's just logistically too much of a headache, too much of a I want to film it. I want to get it done. I don't want to have to have a bunch of sod sitting around while people try and come pick it up. So that's the reason why. Keith Madison says, interesting to see Leon, 2 in my mowers in my neighborhood last year. Lee actually brought one. Just cuts of fear to acclaim any improvements to this. I'm not sure, Keith, but I'm not sure exactly.
No, I don't. That's a fair question, but I don't know what the neighborhood is. But we definitely aren't looking to make any improvements because there hasn't been any problems at all with the mowers. So
yeah,
I don't really have a good answer for that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, again, I have one of the probably one of the, I wasn't remember the older ones, but I have one of the older examples of the Revolution, and I ran mine all season long. No problems at all. I mean, it's at rear rollers right now, getting freshened up, getting sharpened, but mine was great. I mean, I was not necessarily I don't necessarily baby my equipment. Like I run my stuff pretty hard. Like my Allet, my Greensmaster, like they got to be able to take it. Like one time when Lee loaned me a Swordman, I used it. It was okay, but I told him, I said, man, this is not going to work for my lawn. I mean, it would not stand up to like it's a bigger property and just the amount of work. But the Revolution, in many ways, kind of like how the True Cut's kind of like a tank. It's very much like that, but a tank that just cuts a whole lot better. So I'm not sure what issues they ran into, Keith. I mean, my example has been
definitely have them reach out to me.
It's been great
because that's not common.
Yeah. All right, Todd's up next. Says, hey, Ron, I have a GM 1000. It's great, but no verticutter. I have a Scarifier battery-powered Sunjoe, and surprisingly, it does a good job. How do I verticut? Is there a machine I can buy? Not yet, but there will be soon.
Some out there.
Yeah, there are. You can use. There are people that use Sunjoes to verticut. There are people that use like Classons, like the slit seeders. If you set them up properly, you can verticut with those too. the thing you're going to run into, especially if you have a larger lawn, is it creates a pretty big mess. And when you get through verticutting it, you're only halfway done. So you got to verticut it all. You can have all this debris in the lawn, and you got to go through and rake it all up with a grass rake manually. It's a lot of work. But yeah, I mean, Lee, Rerollers is working on a verticutter. I'm not sure when they're planning to release it. I mean, he's not gonna give any dates today, but that's what I would wait for if you're looking to get a standalone unit. All right. Next up is Chris Simmons. He says, "Evening, gents. New Revolution 26 owner here, and goodness, Lee, the team knocked this machine out of the park. If you're on the fence, pull the trigger. Can't wait to see what else y'all bring to market." So, Chris, you're like one of these guys that say, "Listen, I don't know what it is. Just take my credit card and just send it to me. I gotta have it." Right?
Gotta earn it. We gotta earn it. We gotta make something good.
Alex Lee says, "Evening, y'all. I just finished up mowing. Alex, I could tell. Listen, the live stream was starting up, and I mean, I want to say I can listen to the sound of a real mower, but the sound of a true cut, I can pick it out. Like a rotary mower does not sound like a true cut. True cut has a certain tone to it that's just very constant, and I could tell you were like your mowing for the live stream. I'm like, oh, he's out there getting it done. Okay." Anyway, he says, "I just finished up mowing. I must have gotten prodiamine out a little late because I've got a bit of a weed problem." Yeah, you were on the pre-emergent. Yeah, you were a little bit late, and then your neighbor kind of sucks because he didn't put out Spectacle on your lawn this fall like he should have. So you can blame me for some of that. So there you go. A lot of the weeds you're seeing now are from fall. No, those aren't from your spring pre-emergent. Those are from those started in November. All right. Noak says, "I'm looking forward to seeing how the Zoysia does." Yeah, man. You and me both. A lot of pressure. It's not going to be on camera. Michael K says, "What can I effectively do to treat Poa annua in March? I did not apply pre-emergent in the fall last year. Let me know if there's a schedule on the website I can follow." Yeah, so I covered that a little bit earlier, Michael. The best way to keep Poa out of your lawn, especially if you have warm season turf grass, is a pre-emergent called Spectacle Flow. Like, this stuff is incredible for keeping Poa annua out of warm season turf grass. If you already got it in your lawn, you can use Certainty to clean it up. But that's really what I would say. I mean, your best bet is come September, do your first application of Spectacle, and then a couple of months later, do another round of it. And you're really not going to have, if you have any at all, very little Poa annua in your lawn, or really any other weeds in your lawn. This is an amazing pre-emergent. It is pricey, but it's I always tell people, magic ain't cheap. So it's you get what you pay for when it comes to that. And as far as, I'm not sure if you have a cool season lawn. If you have a cool season lawn, you cannot use this. You can use prodiamine, like a couple of rounds of prodiamine will work well. Not quite as good as Spectacle, but that's what you're gonna have to go with if you have a cool season lawn. And if you have Poa in your lawn now that you want to get rid of, Velocity PM is what you're gonna have to look into for that. So there's several blog posts on pre-emergent that we have on the store. If you just Google pre-emergent golf course lawn, you're going to see the blog posts that will come up that talk all about that. But the long and short of it is, your spring pre-emergent, you want it in the soil before the average 5-day is mid-50s. So around here in Georgia, I tend to go early. So early to mid-February, get your pre-emergent out. And then for the fall, for Poa annua, which is what you're after, September. So get it out a bit early, September, and then again in a couple months later, November, December is when I would do another round of Spectacle. And if you do that, you're gonna see a substantial reduction, if any, as far as having Poa annua in your lawn, Michael. So hope that helps, sir. Spectacle is an amazing product. It's not cheap, but it's not cheap for a reason. It's a really good product. Like I've tried tons of different concoctions for keeping Poa annua out of my lawn, and by far Spectacle is the best. So hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, do let me know. All right, let's keep rolling here, because I gotta get Lee out of here soon. We're not gonna go too late tonight. Next up, we got Mr. Phillips. He says, "Hey Ron, I got my soil test results. I just got the recommended fertilizer. Should I use this fertilizer for the rest of the season or just this time? Thanks." Yeah, so it depends. It's a good question. It depends. It depends on what nutrients were low. What I would tell you is this: if you have a soil test results that show your phosphorus levels are just outside the optimal zone, and say we recommended the 14-7-14, I would use a fertilizer with phosphorus for the first 2 applications or so of the season, and then I would switch to a fertilizer that is nitrogen and potassium. So if you get your soil test results and you have adequate phosphorus levels, then yes, I would use what's recommended all season long. So in that case, it's probably going to be Humic Max 1608. So I can show you here really quick. Under lawn fertilizer, so if you have adequate phosphorus levels, you're likely going to get recommended this. And yes, you could run this all season long. This is what I use on my lawn throughout, like starting next month in April all the way through till into October. If you have low phosphorus levels, then this is what I would use. And depends. If they're very low, like, if you're not anywhere near optimal, you can run this all season long. There are people that do that run the 14-7-14 for the entire season. So it's really how low your phosphorus nutrient levels are. That's will determine what you run for most of the season. What you could do is this, right? If you're on the bubble, you could run 14-7-14 if you need more phosphorus for a few months, and then do another soil test come like June timeframe. And you can see measure your nutrient levels are and make an adjustment then. So the only true way to know, Mr. Phillips, is by getting the soil test data. But for most people, I say if you're just on the bubble, a couple applications of fertilizer with phosphorus in it, and then you can switch to a low or non-phos fertilizer, and that will put you in a good spot. Because really, you don't, unless you actually need it, you don't want to be putting a lot of phosphorus into the soil over and over and over again if you don't need to do that. All right. So good question. If you need anything else, let me know. Okay. Next up, we have Chris Simmons. He says, I got a question for Lee. I have 18,000 square feet. I mow with Revolution 26 and currently have a 6 blade. I mow at 3/4 inch for my maintenance cut. Which blade would you recommend for a backup, the 6 or 10 blade?
So recommend the 6.
Six.
I really believe the 6 is the sweet spot
Yep.
for most everybody.
So 6 blade. So there you go. So your backup, make it the same thing as what you got now. I like it. All right.
We scaled down to 3/8 for the 6 blade, and it looks perfectly fine. Like, I really believe the 6 blade covers most of your range.
Okay. Fair enough. So there's no reason to to complicate things. All right. Next up, Tomax Zamot is up next. He says, I can't wait for my mower. Already cleared out a spot in the garage for the caliper trimmer goes to the shed for the backyard. The Revolution in the garage for the front lawn. Wow. She putting the trimmer out in the shed? I mean, wow.
Your music played.
Savage. All right.
Can't wait to get it out to him.
Let's see here. Marsby says, hi, Ron and all. I've sent you my soil test results through my soil testing website. I looked at the recommendations, but was wondering if there's a combo of products to cover all items that are low. Yes, Marsbees. So here's the thing. If you guys ever use like the My Soil tool to send me soil test results, all it says is, and I need to talk to them about this. It says, hey, so-and-so or someone sent you soil test results, but it doesn't actually give me your name. So if you do that, like email me and say, hey, Ron, I just sent you a soil test result, and then I'll know that I'll be able to match them up. So I think I got one, Mars Bees. I'm guessing if it was today, I'm guessing that's you, but I did get what I'm like, who is this from? I don't know who this person, whose soil test is from. So I'll look at it and I will get you an answer after the show. Thanks for coming on and letting me know, and we'll get you taken care of. Tutrilla from Manila. Not really. He says, hey, Ron, and it's good to see you, Lee. I hope everything is going well with you and the family. I think we're good here. Oh boy, here we go. So robot mower crews in the house. Because that does not necessarily answer the question, but you did offer perspective as to why not to use a robot mower. Also, this also is an appropriate question for guys like you who love to mow your lawns. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like not the.
I think the robot's great for those that don't want to mow their yard. I'm sure it's going to cut just as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly it. I mean, for doing what it does, yes, but for me, no.
You know what I am seeing though a lot of more of is actually folks that want a real mow, but maybe they don't have the time to cut twice a week. I'm starting to see this trend, and we work with a lot of landscapers, obviously in the area, that use real mow yards. And we see this trend where they have landscapers that are doing the edging, the trimming of the hedges, and they're doing one mow with their mower. So from a homeowner, they'd be using my mower, And then I'm supplementing that another time during the week. So you pay the landscape company to come once a week, do the edging and do the hedges, and then you supplement that with your own personal mowing once a week. We've seen a lot of customers starting to move to that model just to try to keep up with. But again, PGR will also do the same thing.
Yep, definitely. Mace is saying the personal satisfaction, and you must love it. Like anything you love doing, it has to be your jam. Plus, a competitive mindset in your community, admittedly or not. Now, Mace, listen, I am not guilty of hearing a mower fire up in my neighborhood and think I must. Here's the thing, I know for sure I have caused that. Lee, you probably can say this too. You get there and start mowing your lawn, and all of a sudden, someone else in the neighborhood is like, oh, they realize they have a mower, they got to go mow their lawns too. So it's a thing. It's a cold war. It's a cold war that's going on. You get there more.
I see it more as like a pride of your own personal property. I
Yeah.
take it more of, hey, I worked hard to get what I have, so I'd like my yard to look good and represent my house.
There you go.
A little pride.
Yep. Andrew Phillips says, Ron, the question about sod cutting service you'll be using and tilling, since you have sprinklers and will use flags, how deep will you be going to avoid sprinkler damage to the pipes below? It's a good question. I believe they're going 2 inches from the surface, what I understand. Well, we'll see how aggressively they want to get to it. Also, keep in mind, my lawn has been top dressed a bunch of times, so there's quite a bit of material, and I've got the irrigation heads marked for them, so there'll be that. The thing I'm more worried about, and I'm almost just planning for this, is my fiber cable, like for my internet. So that's the one area I'm going to be out there like, listen, guy, because they don't bury those very deeply. I'll be like, listen, it's going to be like around here. Be careful around here, because I don't want my internet to go out. So that's the thing I'm really probably the most concerned about. Irrigation heads, not that big a deal. I mean, worst case, if they get damaged, I can just replace them. I only
I was
have,
gonna say,
I've only got like 4 of them.
you're repairing something. Something's gonna need repair.
Yeah, something's gonna get broken. I mean, given the choice, I would rather all the irrigation heads get broken than my internet access, because that's not that much work to fix those. But the internet, I got to call the ISP to come do it. So, all right. Let's see here. TR Place says, Ron, the Marmonth Luba robot will give you those stripes. I beg to differ. I want to see. He says, the major plus for the robot is it can maintain a low-cut yard for those who don't have the time to cut daily. Yeah, that's it. If you don't have the time and you want a great-looking yard, it can look good. But it's the satisfaction of also knowing you did it yourself. You know what I mean? That's also that too. Do you know where to buy a used Revolution?
Don't. Facebook Marketplace seems to be the place for anything most of the real mowers we find that are used, or people selling the real mowers, is on Facebook Marketplace. That's consistent.
Cool. Wow. It took us 2 hours to get to this question. I thought it was going to come sooner, but here we are. Jeff says, when will a battery version of the Revolution mower be coming out?
Right now, we don't have a battery version coming as we speak. There is a battery option that we can choose, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm just still not sold on the idea of battery. It's not personal, but it's how do you find a battery that works for the entire US market when the battery market's already been established? So you've got people that love Ryobi, you got people that love Greenworks, you've got people that love Ego. Like, it's really tough to come up with a mower that's going to be battery powered to serve all the people's wants and needs. If you're not a massive company like a Ego who sell 300,000 mowers a year versus maybe 1,500 a year, like it's really the scale. And those that are trying to do it, it's a struggle, and you're seeing that. It's just really tough to get into that market and keep the price point reasonable for homeowners unless you're making hundreds of thousands of mowers a year. It's really tough.
Yeah,
that's just honesty. Not that I don't want to. It's just economically, it's really a tough thing to get into.
Makes sense. Jerry Wallace says, good evening, Ron. With the temps here in South Carolina and probably in Georgia, I'm tempted to spray my Celsius Certainty combo now during green up, even though I did 2 apps of pre-emergent. It depends, man. I mean, most lawns don't need a blanket spray. If you've got a few weeds here and there and you want to go out and you want a spot spray, I don't see any issue with that. But I wouldn't get out there and just blanket spray the lawn just because the lawn is greening up. Like you'd want to, like, herbicide use really should be limited as much as you can, right? I mean, if you do a good job with pre-emergent, which it sounds like you have, spot spraying is really more likely what you're going to be doing, and that would be fine to do. So no issue with that. Does Real Rollers offer financing?
We do. I checked it out. There's 6 months, 0% interest as an option for people that want to buy it.
There you
Anything
go.
over $1.
So you can get your financing done. Let me see. Okay. Next up is let's see. Ronald Lee, I've seen so many videos on scalping, but you have to have scalped a lawn to appreciate it. The amount of clipping is going from 2 inches to half an inch, was unreal. Oh yeah, dude. That's absolutely true, Jimmy. I mean, that's what when people say, "Oh, I'm going to scalp my lawn down to the dirt." I'm like, good luck, man. I mean, if you do it right, that's a ton of stuff. So yeah, I get it. Lee, will there ever be specials or discounts on Revolution parts?
Good question. I doubt it. We really tried our best actually to keep our prices very, very low on the parts. If you were to compare them to other mowers in the market, we're actually below on many of the things. You know, like a reel for us is about $350. For everybody else, it's like $500. We're really trying to keep it reasonable. We don't sell or do discounts on parts specifically. It's usually on the mowers. But the parts is just a lot of work to try to discount every single item. There's close to 200 parts just for the Revolution. And I think we have 1,000, maybe 1,100 parts total across all three mower brands. So we usually don't have discounts on the parts. We try to keep them just aggressive across the board.
Nice. Oliver Rhythms up next is how many bags of carbonized PNG would one use to equal a top dressing project with the old? Oh, you're talking about like Essential G. So it'd be 2 for 1. So if you look at the label on carbonized PNG, Miramichi has you putting one bag down on 2,000 square feet. You can stretch that to 4,000 square feet. That's what I do. So you could do 1 for 1 if you wanted to, Oliver. So whatever you did for Essential G, you could do that same thing for carbonized PNG, or you could go heavier, slightly heavier if you wanted. But when I'm applying it on my lawn, I'm still doing the same rate and the same amount of product as I did when I was using Essential G. So that's you shouldn't have to make it. You don't have to go a lot heavier unless you want to. Does Real Rollers offer a discount for being part of the academy? I don't think so. They're different. I can answer that one. No. Let's see here. Lee, I've noticed you are discontinued some True Cut parts. Are you getting away from their parts?
It's a good question, actually. Any of the parts that we discontinued, it's one of two things for any of them. For the True Cut mowers, and actually all the mowers, we don't sell the grass catchers anymore. On our website, we discontinued carrying those. The only reason being, it is insanely expensive to ship, and no one wants to pay for it. You know, the grass catcher is $150 to $200, whichever the brand is, but to ship it is $150, and nobody wants to pay that. So we found ourselves having some challenges with shipping grass catchers. Now, as far as parts of other things, the only things we've discontinued carrying are going to be the H, which is the homeowner model, and that's because True Cut has as the manufacturer. So I don't know if True Cut stopped making the 20-inch True Cuts of both the homeowner and the professional, and they only make the 25-inch and the 27-inch as mowers, but they still make parts for 27, 25, and the professional 20. They're not making the parts for the homeowner 20 anymore. So we've kind of bled those off on our inventory as we run out. So it's strictly the manufacturer, not us.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Ruben Texiera says, Ron, what do you recommend first? Aerate seed top dress or aerate top dress seed? In most cases, aerate top dress seed. Reason for that is whenever you're putting out grass seed, like most grass seed doesn't need to be buried very deeply. So, you can aerate, put out your granular biostimulant, your fertilizer, top dress, put your seed out, and then rake the seed in, and then just that is going to be enough to get good seed to soil contact. You can roll it after you're done too if you want. Like that's going to work well. What you wouldn't want to do for most grass seeds is to get out there, you aerate the lawn, put out a bunch of grass seed, and then go put down an inch of top dressing on top of it. Like that's going to produce a negative result. So for most people, I would do aerate, put your top dressing material out, then seed and roll it in. So yeah, that's how I go about it. Hope that helps, Ruben. Great question. All right, next up, phosphorus low. Yeah, so phosphorus low, then you could run 14, 7, 14 all season long if you wanted to in that case, Ruben. I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips. Jim Schmidt says, Hey, Ron, Lee, fired up for season 2 of the tag team of Golf Course Lawn Store products and the Revolution 26. New grind in place and the first mow down in Northeast Florida. And yes, hopping on the Primo train too. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Speaking of Primo, lots of people say to use half rate on first app of the year, but if we use every 2 weeks methodology, and you need to scale back the first month. No. So that's the point. You could literally start half rate, that's what you're essentially doing, and do that every 2 weeks all season long. Then you don't have any of the issues with tip burn. Here's the thing. If you don't do it this way, typically the yellowing, the tip burn really happens the first time you spray it. And then afterwards, as long as you don't allow the plant to come out of regulation, you don't typically have the problem again. But the benefit of just doing it every 2 weeks is if you get into the hotter times of the year, like June, July, applying it once per month, you're right on the bubble. A lot of times between, that 3 to 4 week period, depending on where you are, growing degree days conditions, you could find that the lawn needs Primo again prior to like that 4 week period. Whereas if you just spray it every 2 weeks at low rates, you're not gonna have a problem. It's just gonna stay under regulation the entire season, which is why I tell people, because it's just easier, right? Versus tracking growing degree days, just every 2 weeks, spray it and you're good to go. And then, yeah, Jimmy, what he's talking about is the baskets. Yeah, that's what they don't carry anymore, for the reasons that he said. He says, Ron, I just got the Anderson's Yard Star spreader and I didn't tell the wife. Okay, don't put that on us. We did not go tell you to go buy something, not tell your wife about it. Guys, tell your other, holy cow, I'm in trouble. Well, dude, bro, what did you, Gary? I mean, let's just think about this for a second. Let's just have a moment. What do you think was going to happen? You can't really hide a spreader. Like, she's going to see, it only works for wives where you walk in the house and there's something new in the house and you're like, where's that? And they say, we've always had, that's always been there. Like, wives can do that. We don't get away with that. So, oh well. I mean, this too shall pass. For not. Well, guys, gals, I think that is it. We will cue the outro music. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out tonight. Lee, appreciate you as always coming out to hang out on the live stream. So any last words of advice? Where can people find you? If anyone has not heard of Real Rollers, where can they find you guys?
You can find us on the web at realrollers.com. Thank you guys so much. Sorry about the audio challenges I had earlier, but appreciate you guys working with me and had a great time being on the show. Always a pleasure seeing you. Luckily, we live about 10 miles away from each other, so good to see you often. So we'll get the turf park dates out there. We'll send it out to everybody. We'll lock that down, and I just appreciate being on here.
Awesome, man. Well, guys, thanks so much. Again, if you need for any of your real mower needs, Revolution, and parts for other mowers, check out realrollers.com.
Birdie cutters in the future.
Huh?
Birdie cutters.
Trimmer?
I was saying verticutter.
Verticutter in the future. Yeah, verticutter in the future. Also there too. So if you're real mowing and verticutter needs, check out the guys at Real Rollers. Just keep calling. Call and just ask them, and just put a bug in his ear. When is it coming out? It'll get it done. Might get it done sooner. For any of your lawn care needs, your fertilizer, herbicides, lawn biostimulants to make your lawn the one that the neighbors will absolutely envy, be sure to check out the Golf Course Lawn Store. As always, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Get out there, do some fun on the lawn this weekend, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
See you guys.